And now EN has angles. You can see Twisted will retreat back into the smoke, but how many smokes do they have left? How much longer can they keep this going as One Dragon's brought back onto his feet?
Nades start rolling down. Big explosions. Gonna be Perfectix that drops it onto One Dragon. Twisted Minds. 2 players up, pushing the hillside.
There it is.
Lou finds another onto Lee. So Hausker is just watching all of this. Tight for T1 playing to the north. The other players for T1 now starting to push the smoke lines, pushing the rid lines, trying to find the kills as they can try to close this one out. All momentum in their favor. It's just about how many of these kills can they get, or can Hausker and Twisted Minds get the knocks that they need to turn this around?
Don't overstep here, T1. You've got him pinned. You've got him right up against the wall. Nice shot from Hausker. Will get the knock on to Lou, and Lou will drop a grenade that takes down Batu. Ian will spot out Perfectix, and that'll do it for Twisted Minds. Now Ty Lou will get second place. Can they get any more points off of this, as T1 have not made a final so far this circuit, but through one game, they are looking really nice to make it to their first.
Hausker tries, goes for the shots. No, T1 takes it. Great performance, great play, great read on the circle. They were just like puppeteers for everybody moving around that last game. Oh, Poro, that was absolutely insane.
That was a beautiful game there, and what a brutal circle to start off the day. Toffees and Avenger are back here to talk about that one. Big win for T1. Boy, oh boy, did they need it.
They did. They needed a final bracket. This might be the ticket to it off a kill count like that. They had a good spot. They caught at least 3 circles, but they played proactively. I loved, Martin, how they came out of that tower to go ahead and take that fight and then move back in. Like, they were doing a very good job of being fluid on their feet, and I think that's what was necessary.
Yeah, and absolutely on this highlights here, that headshot in the parachute, so illegal we had to see it twice. And also T1 missing 3 of the 8 finals so far. They're not about to miss PGS 9, that's for sure. What a way to do it. And yeah, the proactivity and the way they kind of moved around having that Harry Potter tower was absolutely amazing.
Played it very, very well. We saw this strange end game as it moves over to the bridge. Twisted Minds had to do a crazy send to end up on the troll bridge, but ultimately it cut off that section and forced full sense and anyone's legend to face each other, Poro.
It did, and it's just it was rough. I love the play by Twisted. I love the creativity to take that E-pick up to end up there, and it ends up getting them in 3rd place. I mean, at the end, the fact that they had so much utility left, I mean, I guess that is kind of goes part and parcel with looting up in school apps, but they just had so much to work with, and the way that they managed that utility, the smokes all the way to the end, I cannot believe Navi gets roasted here by Tony. Like, that was just filthy. Look at this.
He jumped out. They weren't prepared for the jump out. Tony with the E-break.
It just, I feel like this is like the 4th time I've seen this from Navi, where they hop in a vehicle to try to go and seat swap somebody to finish them off, and for some reason they just get soloed. It's like the worst luck.
Navi feels like they lived off their mechanics for a long time, but it does feel like a lot of players are starting to find ways to be just as mechanically gifted. I mean, not as good as Hakatori, we can acknowledge that, but be able to counterplay him well enough to, I would say, use some of the ego that sometimes is Navi's undoing.
They're big branding them. Like, the problem with Navi's seat swap is they both swap like a bunch of like slathering animals and just spray. And so Tony hits the E-brake, they're leading the car, and then they're out of bullets when he jumps out. Like, it just kind of puts them caught with their pants down. It's an unfortunate situation. So I think we'll just get a little smarter about dealing with those drive-bys. That will change, though, in the next patch. All right, let's talk about T1. These guys played very, very well. They did catch some circles, but that doesn't matter. At the end of the day, it's about how you win, and they played very well from the high ground. My favorite part of this fight, though, was how Nemesis decided to do the backstab. They lost, and then it was Ty Lou attacked Twisted Minds and got a knock, because I think they figured, hey, if they see Twisted Minds is hurt, obviously they'll attack them first, Poro.
I don't know, man. Ty Lou, they had great position that game, and they didn't get active until the very end, and then it was just like, let's all press the W key at once to go finish off full sense. That was successful. They did take a knock in the process. But yeah, I mean, Twisted just kind of took them to school, and it was really just utility usage. Like, there was nothing that Ty Lue could really do to take down any of the Twisted guys.
Oh, there's one thing you can do to take down the Twisted guys. Call in T1, and they will help you, because that's what they did. From the high ground came the man of the match, Heather, 4 kills. They played well. I mean, at the end of the day, they had the Harry Potter Tower. It was a great spot once that 6th shift came in, Matt. Martin.
Yeah, let's go. Yeah, for sure. I'm definitely, I'm sad on behalf of Nemesis because they kind of had that. They had the Yellow House north of it, and they could have taken it. But T1, they scouted it from Russia. Like the center guy crossed so early that no one else was really holding down that bridge, and Ian was just able to grab it. And yeah, that granted Heather this man of the match. Great play for him so far, but still, again, in a situation where they're able to get this many kills, deny Nemesis any push of it. Yeah, Ian, too good.
Well, we were talking about like some of these other teams. For me, Gen G is the one that hurt the most. Gen G was trying to be proactive. They were trying to make the smart call, but it just took too long. And they were just trapped there, like Porter was talking about. And a great idea turned into a terrible idea because suddenly everybody got in position and just ate them up. And I feel like that's just Gen G in a nutshell. They come forward, they get great fragging power. They just want to try to close out the fight, and then the fight gets closed out for them instead.
You know, Martin pointed this out in the green room when I said, Gen G should be way better on paper. And he just casually went, they're an FPP team. And I think that nails it. This idea of like even that whole fight process, it felt like they were still fighting the old system. It's not, they haven't gone full grind baby like Nixie and the boys, Martin. They seem like they're kind of committed to the old ways.
Yeah, a little bit sad the way that they got absolutely annihilated by Shaba. That push like in the open, like they don't have any cover. You can see that they're just getting cooked up by one nade, and yeah, the approach to it is a little bit rough there. And also, if you want to get across that circle, you gotta do it like you pre-drive the circle when it pops. Otherwise, you're gonna get caught.
It just didn't feel like they didn't have a plan for what to do if they didn't take them out quickly. Like you got two guys just hanging around in the smoke on the road. You know, at the very southern part of the circle, knowing that there's other teams on the south side. Like that's, you know, you've got to have something in mind just in case you can't finish that fight as quickly as you need to.
You can see Curdy handing over the paperwork. It means the plane is taking off as the refs run around and gather all of the review materials. It's time for game number 2 as we head to the Dusty Dunes. Keep in mind there is only 5 games today. At the end of this, we'll know who the 8 teams headed to the grand final to play 15 games for their share of $300,000 and 120 PGS points for first place, and probably a bid to PGC. This is big times, big moments, big jumps, and we're going to send the boys back to the green room, and it's going to be me and Martin taking the action here. Avenger, this is, in my opinion, probably one of the more important games because the last one was where you had a chance to set your stake. This one is sort of your last chance to be ahead at the cut, right? To be there where you're no longer chasing anyone. I think game 2 is probably one of the most important ones to play.
Especially since there's a Miramar, there's a lot of chances on this map here where you can really get that ball rolling. The snowball effect usually is even better on Miramar. A little bit of a northern plane path here could make it difficult for some of the teams to get into the usual drop shots here, though, Toby. In my opinion, I am really looking forward to see how this kind of lines up. But also, Toughies, this Campo Militar Cruz de Val potential, I've not seen it in a big while here. It could be cool to see one of those.
Big fan of the Campo Militar, so we'll see if anybody actually has the boldness to stretch out and make that loot happen. Looks like Nemesis might be willing to do it. They're going to pick up some cars on the way. That should be fun to watch. Now, let's talk a little bit about the last match for just a second as we watch everybody handle out. Looks like there's no hot drops coming. Tyloo got top 3. I think that's a pretty big deal, Avenger, considering people, and I don't know who, just some people, very smart people, have been calling them things like Ty losers, Ty losing, Ty lost. And here we are now seeing them in the top 2 or 3 right after that match. Like, that's got to be encouraging for the fans.
Yeah, and one of my favorite quotes from one of my old friends of former lives has a great saying, and he loves this saying. He says it so often: a broken clock is right twice a day. And that was that one match that they're going to be right. I got to be honest with you. Tyloo has so far seen 0 finals. They have to have an absolute banger day to have a chance at that. That northern shift where they were the most northern team that really came on from. I hope they're able to kind of turn it around here. But considering how everything kind of lined up in their long rotation path to get in there, it's very fortunate that that circle ended up going north of the river.
Well, as we look back,
mostly T1 kills.
Yeah, as we look back at the T1 kills and this match, I do believe we have a check-in, and we can talk with the Godlike coach, hear a little more about what they were up against.
Well, welcome to the interview. We have Big Cat with us here, and he's a coach from Godlag. Say hello to the audience. Hello. Yeah, consider performance in PGS8 impressed us very much. So, and it's like survival in PGS9 right now. What do you feel like? Do you feel any pressure?
A primeira semana ela começou muito dura. Nós acabamos cometendo erros e nós usamos o intervalo para poder recolocar as coisas no lugar. Foi um período de conversas e responsabilidades, onde nós nos colocamos de volta no caminho e redefinimos as responsabilidades dentro da equipe.
We work hard this week, and for us, it's not a good week when we start the game, and we will do our responsibility this time, and we will have the chance to rearrange our responsibility, and we want to have a good grade.
Okay, best wishes to you guys. See you in the games. Bye bye.
I feel like he said a lot for what I was told he said there, but I'm not going to judge. All right, let's see. It sounds like they're going to reprogram and have a good game. He was really passionately describing something, and I feel like it was more than just we're going to, you know, figure out what went wrong and fix it. Fascinating. All right, they're back into Miramar, though. The Dusty Dunes are upon us. Not much seems to have happened while we were gone, as this is the nature of Miramar, especially when you have a circle all the way off into the northeast over here.
Absolutely. And especially with such an eastern circle here, Toffees, the El Asaha circles are some of the most daring ones because you need to figure out and kind of edge your bets where you think it's going to end. Because if you have to cross that big road that is going in through and basically making a canyon on the north and the south side west of El Asaha, then it's going to be, almost your guaranteed death if you do it too late. So having a 2-2 side split here could be very valuable for a team like GTE, the Expendables, but we'll see how it works out and if they're able to capitalize on having that home turf circle.
APG about to take the safest pickup I have ever seen in my life. Okay, note to self: if you want to go to the air without people seeing you prepping, that is the location to do it. So they'll get ready to make a transition. We got Purdy. Looks like he wants to get a little bit of an ambush here on Ty Lu as they drive off in the distance. It's a long shot for Luke. Looks like what, they go for the trail cars here. Uh-oh, they're stopping.
They're looking at Ty Lu. Shots are coming in. One dragon. The car got popped here. That's now, he's going to be a sitting duck in that car. Shots come in. Easy point here. Seat swap for the quickness. He's going to get his feet shot at, though. A little bit difficult. Tire pop now. Shots come in close to the feet. Oh, that's going to be so rough. He actually got the first aid popped off. Now more shots come in and connect here. Can they get him down? And Alo sitting on the other side is a guaranteed point for Team Liquid. Look at that. They're jumping straight into 8th place.
Alo drove down here to make sure that they got this flushed and over with before anybody else could respond. I like that proactivity from the Liquid guys. They set a trap. Meanwhile, okay, Sololzy goes ahead and gets himself a little godlike blood to go with it, as anyone's legend going to go ahead and backfill this. Haven watching from a distance, but I don't think there's much he can do here to try to save his compatriot.
All right.
Yep,
Sololzy.
that's it. He's got to leave.
Yeah.
God.
Yeah.
That knock on him,
It's going
too.
to poke him off there. That's going to be quite easy done so there. The problem is, again, when you're in this area here, you're edging your bet so much on that northern western shift. Godlike is actually committing here. They want to get a revenge. I don't think they're aware that there's a 2-2 in here in this split here. Shots coming in from him, has lots of damage done. Does not connect. He's down to 4 HP. Re-peak, ego peak there. So Loss is going to have to flush in. Finds one, finds Tony. That's a big name to take out. Finds Fana as well.
It's like him ass through on purpose. They got so hungry when they saw him miss that full mag that they didn't pay attention to Sololzy waiting in the wings. And off goes Haven. He started that transition. He's just out of here.
All right.
So he's going to be Haven running off to safety.
Yeah. And he's probably going to be hoping for a southern shift here so he can go in and grab those chips and maybe get the boys back into action. But again, this is really the name of the game. You want to try to commit. You want to try to make sure you're full alive here. In this circle with how everything's kind of rolling in, Toffees, I think anyone's legends on this northwestern side here, they're going to have to get this big rotation. There's a good dirt road kind of under them, but there's still the same problem. If you have to cross to the south or to the east, you have a huge road ahead of you, and you have so many teams looking at the high ground, especially here in 2026 when TPPs in the esports, there's so many spots where you can just get so much information from without exposing yourselves.
Should be interesting to see how they choose to handle this situation as the circle continues to collapse. Gen G, the team that by all circumstances on paper should be dominating the season, has been lackluster as they make their transition. Twisted Minds, another team who on paper we thought was going to be thriving this year. I'm not saying they're not, but they're not living up to the expectations that we have as a community for Twisted Minds. I guess that's one of the downsides of being as prolific as you are. Becomes very difficult to sort of live up to those standards. Now, another team as prolific as anyone's legend, Sololzi, huge backstab. I couldn't believe him blew that spray, though. I'm going to be honest with you, Martin.
Yeah, that's how it goes. Sometimes you hit all the shots, and other times you do go. And actually, all the teams actually have go south here. It's sure it has a high end, but Toffees, the majority is on this kind of a truck stop area in between Elasaha and GT, and 4M is kind of locking this space down already. Not any open compounds whatsoever. So you have to play some open areas around these high grounds, around these spaces where terrain is a little bit more difficult to traverse with your vehicles.
It was a pretty nasty yoink down towards the south as everyone you saw. JDG was like, oh, we'd like this spot, take it. Now they're going to go over here and explore this spot, take it. Like you said, there's just nothing left as you look at the water tower with some cool, hey, he's got your headphones, that water tower. And off in the distance, Vitality going to go ahead and jump into this building right here. They got the longhouse to be able to defend that pretty well. Meanwhile, where's this APG fight?
You would think so. Oh, no,
there
it's
it
the other side here. Oh, okay. Big
never
send actually from Nemesis. They're able to take some space away just above Na'Vi here. It's a little bit rough area. Look at that. We might see Hagatory having to try to fend off some of the Nemesis guys. They see him and they stop on the other side. Nades are coming towards it and they're actually engaging on him. He's getting a full open run on them. He takes the high ground away from him. This is going to be rough for Nemesis potentially.
Nemesis is feeling really out of sorts as they just keep driving around in circles. They do eventually get off, but Ferris is off to the right side. He's going to be able to have a flanking shot as Hagatory takes the brunt of the fight. Pushes forward, gets the nades cooked up. Nice toss over where the car was parked. So set up tight and personal with Diffax. They got to play this aggressively. The Melman is in the car behind them, possibly loading up to come in and assist on the fight, as Na'Vi just has top-tier TP peak potential and a solid flanker in Ferris.
All right. See if they can actually get this kind of swing around before everyone else starts sniffing and kind of pushing towards their sides. The Nemesis is hoping to be that last season team. Shots are actually coming in towards them, potentially from Gen G. Yeah, look at the lines in the minimap. Shots are coming in and they have to figure out, are we going to get backfilled here from a Gen G or other team? They obviously don't know them yet. They could be disengaging here. They are actually jumping into the cars and disengaging and trying to take some of the more eastern sides here. This is smart. You want to be that last team coming in from an edge when you're playing edge already.
You know, for two things. First off, that Gen G shot definitely convinced them it was time to go, okay, while they still have tires to do it. They leave. The other thing that I liked about that was Na'Vi did not show what I have been seeing as a trademark aggression, willing to just sort of send Hagatory over and look to get the kills, because I think they're now aware of just how powerful the third parties are. They said, you know what, we're going to leave Nemesis on the other side of this hill, and hopefully they get backstabbed. Like, that's our goal here, is to force other people into awkward fights instead of getting involved with them ourselves. So good pull off by Nemesis, but also good solid defensive hold from Na'Vi, a team that I'm not generally used to doing that.
Yeah, it's smart. It's a great point to be made, honestly. And again, a situation where you always need to make sure you are not being third party, but you are the third partying factor. Circle's gonna pop. We're gonna go south again. It's gonna be a very truck stock ending here, Toffees, but look at the teams that's already set up. We already have JDD in there. We have Vitality around the edges and T1 on the western side. With a lot of the other teams kind of north or around the edges, they're going to have to find their ways into this. Team Liquid leaving some space and trying to take this southern area.
All right, love the E pick up here. I love it because it's from such a, I mean, it's just, where do you go? There's just nowhere to go. We got one dragon dropping in from the sky. He's already going to take a ton of shots. T1 directly below him, but the expendables come crashing, and now T1's got to focus on the threat at hand. Duck Juice gets that knock on type as Rain tries to get the flank position. That was a drive-up knock, man.
Absolutely, it has to come in and really has to commit to this one here. Really good drive-by there for Tanwu. He's been an absolute menace so far. We also saw some great aspects of Team Expendables. And again, in a situation where they take this space and area away here, they're just edging their bets. We're going to have a northern shift. If we end up having to go away from truck stop, it's going to be absolute mayhem. T1 And likely trying to maybe get some points or maximize out of this one here, but they're split toughies. They're one in the north, one in the west, and one on the south side. And they're going to have a hard time getting typed back into the game.
I just am worried that one dragon sitting on top of the mountain over there with his pile of gold could end up collecting a bunch of kills. Smart little drop there onto the sombrero. We'll see if it comes out of it. JDG trying to save their man. Smoke lines, but grenades chase. Can you rescue? Dangerous rescue, but oh no! Oh, the rescue mission goes horribly wrong, and the rescuer, Cold 119, is knocked with the flush grenade from Batulin.
Oh my god, this is a rough situation for them here. And again, with how the circle's kind of pushing in. Sure, they're central, but they don't want to commit here, toughies. If this circle goes out of truck stop, it's a guaranteed top 8 for them. Anyone's looking to take a lot of damage here, and actually tons of damage. Anyone's looking out in 16th place. They got completely destroyed by Team Vitality. What a great play from them. What a good hold here from the eastern side, toughies.
Yeah, I mean, I will say this: anyone's legend crashing is for bumping their cars against each other like it's a state fair. Was a little bit wild and set up Vitality for a nice little spray down. So they drop, but they immediately have to fall backwards because, hey, third parties are the name of the game these days. We jump over to APG and Full Sense facing off here. We got a little knock on Tigger, and he's going to be pulling back to try to get a res from his teammates.
Absolutely.
It's a horrible crash.
APG. Oh, that's a great nade. Oh, actually didn't get cooked, so it's going to jump on. Matulin's going to go and try to disengage from this spot completely. Maybe try to get heal off. Velo finds Perfectix with a headshot with the SLR. And now we see more teams committing to this Na'Vi side here, trying to fend off. Shots are coming in, though, connecting a lot of damage. Oh, huge nade there from Thunders onto Hagatari. The biggest names to take out on the Na'Vi team.
Oh, no. That's 2 down. Jedi's going to go ahead and get the knock on Spyro, which drops him down to 2. And Ferris is in an off position where he can't really help outside of just playing flanker. So he's going to be kind of far away. Next one comes in. Boosted going to get flushed out. Sharper Esports doing it with cars is the moral of their story. Thunder's going to go ahead and go for that heal, as it doesn't seem like Na'Vi has an answer to this crash.
No, so it's just Ferris. A little bit of utility being committed to this one here. Can maybe get a little bit more points. I don't think so. It's going to be rough for him. Thunder swinging around here. He's going to be absolutely flushed out. Well played by Earth's Apalui and Sharper. We did have a southern shift here, so a lot of the teams in truck stop is going to have to figure their way out and figure a way to get into this circle without dying on the rotation. Simon T, though, he's going to get pushed here from Full Sense, shotgun in hands. He finds Simon T with an easy double barrel shotgun here. Well played by him.
All right, nice play there. Na'Vi got deleted. That was hard to watch, and now we see APG in a tough situation. Genji making a big rotation. That's going to put them kind of in the same sphere of influence as Team Liquid. They actually get pulled off, and they might have to crash into Nemesis here, who's just off to the side. So I was going to say let's do some comms, but if Nemesis and Genji fight it out, there's no way they fight this. They're outside the circle, Martin.
I think Genji's setting up shop here to maybe just hold them out. Nemesis is forced off this edge here to play in a way where they're going to have to get this engagement going. Think Soul's stops in the southern side. The other guys are just going to try to flush in to Soul's position. Salute's also prepping nades here. Shots are coming in. It's going to be a little bit rough for Soul with having lost a few tires here and there. Now Salute with a barrel in hand on the Dragunov. He's got a great ridge here to push. Soulset is definitely the aggressor here in this case, as Salute is trying to fend them off, keeping this east side control here. Soulset with full 3 gear and an AUG. It's going to be difficult for Salute to hold on to.
Bean has had to hold Nemesis on the right, on the north side, so he's going to fall back. We see a nice little knock there from Salute as the fight goes on. They're pulling Bean in, so they're going to commit hard to this fight. Salute pushing forward here. He's up close and personal. Dodges one nade. Soulset preps another one up. Got the cook. Got the toss. Bad bounce. Goes over his head. Salute up close. Puts him on the tree. Melman's knocked. Defects off in the distance. That smoke doesn't have too much longer to last, so Salute's going to have to re-up on this one and try to call for a little bit of backup. Where's the team, he says, as he seems like he's stuck in a very uncomfortable 1v1, as both teams have support cover, but no one else coming down to fight this.
And you see Haven on the minimap actually running in behind them. Could also really make it difficult for Nemesis. Maybe even a flush and a knock for him could be worthwhile, but let's see now here with Genji. They're inside the circle except for D. He's on the northern side, kind of the anchor in the back position here, and Nemesis has to push now as the circle closes in. We're going to jump from 3 to 5 damage per second. They cannot afford to stay inside this blue zone for much longer.
And that means Haven's
There we
going to
go.
also have to hard push here. There's Haven from the back. He gets the knock on Sosed. Meanwhile, Stade gets knocked down by Soul, and Nemesis systematically starts to fall apart. Elsewhere, the map, Full Sense is eliminated. The defending world champions dead at 14. Nemesis caught inside the blue, and Gen G sets themselves a wall as the shrink goes directly to Team Liquid. Feeling pretty good about that one. The rest of the teams are going to have to make a rotation. We do see Haven go down, so Godlike is officially eliminated, and Gen G just trying to finish the cleanup here on Nemesis as it's Diffix and Melman outside in the blue.
Absolutely, and all the teams here we see, 8 teams or so in the north side where they're going to have to fight for space that I would think allows, 2 or 3 teams to be playing here. A Team Liquid with a southern shift like this here, they have to figure out, okay, how do we actually lock down an area where we're not going to get too contested, where we can poke at everyone else to kind of force them to fight, because a hard shift south like this here is obviously, with it when it's back-to-back, going to mean that we're going to have so many teams that's congested in the north, west, and eastern side of the minimap here. So as we see T1 trying to fend off and survive this push here from Tyloo and the truck stop, there's just so many teams waiting for them to get out of truck stop. It's going to be a cleanup fest. Shots come in, though, from Raining. He has the micros in hand, but it's going to be difficult. Raining finds Lee, and now Tyloo has to figure out how do you do it. Raining with a shotgun too. One ring does fan Raining, and now it's going to be difficult for Tyloo to make more of it.
All right, Ian, going to go out to the right side. You saw the end of Nemesis over in the kill feed. Tyloo going to try to make a play here. You can tell the players switching to things like the Uzi means that they know there's not much after this fight, so they're committing everything they have to it. It's Ian, last man standing going in, trying to get some flushes into Example, holding the line up on top just outside the blue. Going to do a little extra damage. Tyloo is over, and Ian, I believe, is the last one standing for T1 in the blue. The Ticks will be aggressive, and he should go down. So, I mean, at this point, it's just going to be a surviving as long as he can situation as the circle continues to close. Let's check in. I believe we've got Team Liquid starting to face off against Expendables coming into their territory. I think we have their comms. Let's see how they're planning to play the end game.
They're playing like East and the
Back never got rezzed, I'm pretty sure, in yellow.
Back got flushed. The
The
other
North guys,
got knocked out.
What are you calling check? Because I see them all 3 in blue.
Back's on orange.
I saw them take yellow. Blue might be a
They're
different
on
team.
3-man blue. No, it's
Okay,
them.
heard.
I saw
Blue might be a
They're
different
on
team.
3-man blue. No, it's
Okay,
them.
heard.
I saw
Heard.
them.
How did they
Roger.
lose?
Our threat right now is waypoint, Luke.
I'm gonna go browse southeast.
There's going to
Do
be a
it.
fight East. I hate people.
All right,
All right,
and
back into it.
back to
It
the
seems like
actions
they
of
have a
these-
plan. How
Yeah,
did lose
absolutely.
Alo?
Losing Alo and having a BDM here is a little bit rough. If they were a 4-man alive, they could definitely fend off some of the teams getting to this spot here. It's definitely a play for position and kind of space control here. So, yeah, a 4-man could have been very valuable. And we see Earthsapalui actually getting to 5 kills now in this game so far. We're down to 8 teams, and now placement points gets distributed.
All right, there's that circle right up on the Expendables. Going to have a nice center spot. Sharper, who's been playing very, very well, is going to be in a pretty okay spot as well. JDG north of them, but they've only got 2. And south is Gen G, who has been defending aggressively and now has a chance to move into a really varied circle. While it looks like there's not a lot there, the fact that there's so much up and down in these ridge lines means I think there's actually a shocking amount of cover for some of these teams that are already in.
Yeah, absolutely. Twisted methodically trying to hold on to this northern side here, but they're gonna have to cross the road, and with both 4AM, JDG, and Sharper staring at them, it's gonna be difficult for them to make kind of more space. Now Earthsapalui is more menace is coming in from Sharper as he's setting up a mortar here. This could actually be really good. This late game, the ridge that he has controlled. Salute finds Thunders though. Genji's kind of making space east of them, forcing them to be into this congested area.
Nice. One day I just want to see it hit the plane out of curiosity. All right, off he goes, comes back down, lands right on
Whoa!
top of JDG. A perfect shot by Perfectix. He was trying to dig a hole, and you know what? He says, let me do it for you, Perfectix. You don't need that pickaxe or your life. Here comes the rest of the team, but to him from the high ground, up over the top. TP Peak smashes him in the head, and down he goes. Easy peasy, JDG back to lobby.
JD squeezing, I thought you were gonna say. And with Twisted Minds having this kind of northern side now, it makes it a little bit more rough for both Expendables and for Sharper. There's so many teams still congested towards the northern side because how terrain is kind of working out. Perfectix, I'll take example. Hopefully they can get a res up without getting him flushed. But let's see what the Expendables decide to do. As utility and nades are coming in, shots are coming in, actually a little bit of damage done to both of them.
Gen.G taking grenades for days. Gam the Expendables throws all they got, and somehow Batulin survives it inside of his little ditch. Tanvu's got the pickaxe out, gonna go back to his car fort that he's building. And up here we sneak. Lou taking grenades left and right, gets his queued up. 4M's being very aggressive with the push. Lou's looking for those sound signals, throws it to where he was, not where he's going. Meanwhile, Gen.G and Sharper go head to head, but Sharper has eliminated Gen.G on a huge crash takedown. They lost some, but they'll be able to get him back up and Twisted back to the fight with 4AM.
Yeah, super well played by them here. Twisted Minds just really trying to fend off so many teams, trying to encroach into their position here. 4AM having the high ground, they peek over this edge here, makes it extremely difficult for Twisted Minds to do anything progressively. Pretty Curdy now, Panzerfaust in the hands of Tanawat. They keep that for that long into the car is so valuable, and it's gonna cost Team Liquid another player after having lost Alo. This could have been their game for double-digit points, but this is making it really rough for them to get into more of it. I understand that Pretty Curdy was doing this because Sharper has just been in a huge fight. Now over to Twisted Minds and 4AM toughies.
They're trying to be proactive, but here comes Lou, takes the head shot from Tanvu. Off to the side, Gam the Expendables is helping out 4AM. 4AM's got such a good spot here on the high ground, but they're outside the circle. They got to finish this fight and start making that transition. It seems like a fight for what's left, not a fight for the win. As Sharper's also doing the backstab from the top. I'm not sure what Twisted Minds does to survive this. They're being shot at from all sides. Good nades out to try to buy some space, but really, it's just a last grasp, a last gasp, as everyone around them is coming down hard.
Absolutely. Well, now with the 4AM committing a lot of utilities to this fight here, it's going to be so difficult for Twisted Minds to get out of this. They're pinched in between 4AM, Sharper, and with the Expendables taking space on the southern side, also denying any space here. Could it be a Hail Mary send here, actually, even? It feels like they have sensed that the presence from Expendables has kind of died off a little bit. It could be a pull-up as well. Looks like it's a pull-up straight onto Sharper.
No way. Ursapalui drops low. Patulin and Perfectix both come out to get a knock, and they turn it back around. They want to make a play. It's Sharper. Deleted as Perfectix comes out as the lone man standing. They were limping. They were hurting, and now they walk away with at least a bunch of kills to put in the hopper. As Liquid goes, where did they come from?
Yeah, extremely well played. But it's just the Minds here to disengage themselves here, but shots are coming in. It might be too much. Team Liquid putting out so much here with the blue zone as well. Sharper does get the most of it, but Twisted Minds did get a point from the pull-up here now. Team Liquid is going to be able to get up with 3 guys and now biking around casually in the circle. Can they put pressure onto 4AM and the Expendables? It's down to a 3v3v4, and there's a BRDM in play on the hands of Expendables.
That was the liquidest liquid to ever liquid. As Purdy runs around, you got Luke just riding his bike, stealthy, moving around the map. GTE seeing if they can make something work. 4AM ecstatic with how this has gone. I think they thought they might be over with when they used all that utility, but then all of their opponents just knocked each other out. Luke 12 gets a nice knock there on Hasameme, and now gets another repeat, gets the nade set up. Gonna go ahead and throw it forward, and 4AM falling apart.
Absolutely well played here. 4AM losing so much. Good little dip here for them, but with the right nade comes into the right spot, it's going to do so much damage here. It felt like they had the upper hand here, but utility and pressure from 2 teams at the same time makes it extremely rough for 4AM to make any more points out of this one here. Sure, they did get some kills, but they were hoping for a win here.
Duckjuice trying to 2-putt that pit. They're going to send the BRDM to close the shot. Rolls right in, lands on top of Winda. Doesn't quite get the kill on Spaceman. Spaceman going to be like, well, I guess I'll shoot at you. I don't really know what else to do here. And there's the nade. Hole in one. Puts it in the pocket. Luke gets the finish.
Now it's down to Team Liquid and Expendables, a 3v3. And in a case of this, where they actually have quite the space to play, it really comes down to what does this BRDM do. Pretty Curdy has the edges here. Oh, and it's actually on fire. He's going to have to jump out here. M249 in hand. Clarice is trying to put pressure onto this one, and now the BRDM destroyed. It's going to create some space on the terrain.
All that work that 4AM did shooting at it. Here comes the high ground. Clory's got that light machine gun. Gonna go ahead and blaze him down. Gets the kill on Purdy Curdy. Puts him up 3-2 versus Team Liquid. But don't worry, Luke has a bike.
He's biking like it's Tour de France, and we're back to can he make anything happen here? They do not have the circle. They're gonna have to make a push towards Expendables, and this ridge that they have is extremely strong. And we also see a Tanu with an off-angle push could really open up and make it difficult for Team Liquid to get any more points in this game.
Luke doing some fancy peeks there. Got a little bit of a headshot. You see the flanker going off to the left side. Don't worry though. The bike is still there. Okay, he checked on it. Brings it back around. Luke 12 goes for the peaks again. Of course they got to create.
Groza. Ah, man.
Why
It's going to be
not?
Groza in the hands of Tanwu and I go. And that's crazy for Team Liquid, to be honest. Like, that's going to be so difficult. Oh, great spray.
Wow.
Can he get another one onto him? Oh, my God. He does it again with the Groza. That's disgusting from Tanwu.
Everybody says the P90 is so strong, but Tanvu says Groza is great. Groza wins games, and that is what's going to happen for GAM, the Expendables. We thought for a minute it was going to be Liquid's match. The Expendables caught in the last circle shift, second to last circle shift, and played out of that spot incredibly well to go ahead and lift the trophy. Let's get Matchroom and Poro back in here. What a game, Poro.
Yo, yeah, that was a pretty wild one again. Just these weird circle shifts going to places where people aren't expecting them. And, I mean, you saw Liquid, it was almost an embarrassment of riches the way it came down to like C4, C5. They had the entire thing all to themselves. So many options on how they wanted to play it. And the one that they picked got them to second, but in the end, it just wasn't enough to overcome the Expendables.
It was tough to come out of that circle that they got. I mean, at the end of the day, it really did go center on Expendables. It's cut their compound out aggressively. Losing Halo early was tough. But that's what I like. Even when they're wealthy, they choose to bike to work to save themselves a little bit of cash. Beautiful plays. At least to see Liquid there, though, because for me, I have been kind of frustrated matching with Team Liquid, and they're doing pretty okay in group stages. They're making the finals and then bottoming them out. So even though they didn't win this, to put up those points and start early is exciting.
Well, there was a conversation that Poro and I were having in the back. Specifically, the Team Liquid was holding the ridgeline that we saw 4 Angry Men kind of playing for the later stages there. They were originally had a couple of players up there, and then if you remember about Circle, I guess 4, they opted to play the South. So Team Liquid went for a later stage positioning instead of putting themselves into more of the ridgeline defense to try to take out a lot of the people that were encroaching. So when we see a meta where a lot of teams are very like, okay, it's time to push, it's time to fight, it's time to kill kind of situation, and like Circle 4 and 5, Team Liquid's trying to lean into safety, but that also meant the fact that all the squads that were coming in so heavy just found these like little off angles to kind of pick them apart here and there and weaken them and made them lose that circle control in the later stage.
Sharper actually had a pretty good spot on them until Twisted Minds rolled in, Martin, and just deleted them. And like, it was a desperation send, but they got a lot out of it.
Yeah, they did. And also absolutely destroyed Gen G. So the amount of points they were able to get from that is obviously huge. But the name of the game so far, 2 games out of 2 insane hardships. This was a triple Southern hardship. Team Liquid didn't know what to do with it. They sent Alo out to like figure out some space here, and he got shot down. If they just held on to the rich on the eastern side, it might have been different, but Expendables with a Groza. Disgusting behavior here from Tanwu. He's going to be able to get 700 damage and 3 kills.
A lot of that, 2 of those kills, I think, coming there at the end with a beautiful Groza action. Again, that gun is just ridiculous, but in his hands, it is even worse. Congratulations to the Expendables. Defending 2 years ago, PGC champions, putting up some big numbers. Right, you gotta remember how long it's been. 10 years, man. You gotta keep track of all these PGC champions. It's tough, but again, it has historically been a fascinating run where you seem to do well at a PGC and then fall off the year after, Poro. This happened with these guys, I would argue, and it seems like Tanvu in particular is kind of firing back up as we hit the tail end of this year.
Yeah, it's not been the greatest tournament for the Expendables there. As we see, oh, look at that. Earth Zapalua, man of the match.
Hold on. Let's take a second, because we never get to see Earth Zapalua up here. Man of the match, 6 kills. Sharper had the hustle, and I'm going to go to Matt here because he was loving on some Sharper earlier today. So I'm going to give it to you to talk about the hype.
Specifically talking about this guy, man. Like, he was kind of tricksy at different stages as we saw him play through the past, like, year or so. But it really does feel like the last month and a half, maybe even 2 months, he's starting to find like a more confidence in his play style, and it's starting to get some decent returns from Sharper. It's allowing them to fight out of situations that they couldn't beforehand. Like, sure, they didn't necessarily handle the best on their defense whenever they had the cars roll up on top of them, but that was Earth going down first in that situation. When they keep him alive, man, they can make it into the later stages.
Save the Earth, and all will be well. All right, let's talk about the leaderboard. Break it down. Match leaderboard looks like it's pretty good for GAM the Expendables 17, but the overall leaderboard after 2 games put T1 at the top at 29. Paul, why don't you break down the rest of this leaderboard for me?
That's still back-to-back top 4s for GAM, the Expendables, and Twisted Minds. So that's a very, very good way to start the day. Obviously, T1 kind of riding on the coattails of that first game win, but they did make top 8 with 5 kills. So this is good news. I'm again talking about the fact that you have to kind of get a good start in these 5-game sets if you're going to have any hope of making the top 8.
It's all about getting to the top 8 so you can go to the grand final. We have multiple past world champions in this lobby at risk of getting knocked out, and they need to turn that back around with 3 games left to play. Guys, we're going to take a short break, and as the team sort of prep for how do we deal with these last 3 games that are going to absolutely be incredible race and super important on the road to PGC, I believe we're going to have a chance to check in with Perfectix from Twisted Mind, a team that has to make it work.
Hello everyone, we're having Perfectix from Twisted Mind with us here. Let's say hello to the audience. Hello.
Hello.
Yeah, because you're like taking the lead in the leaderboard right now, qualified to the grand final. Do you feel happy with your play so far?
Yeah, of course, we feel happy. First 2 games was good for us, but we need to keep on and get more points.
Let's share about more details. For example, the first game, you're hiding under the bridge. So in our opinion, it's kind of a little bit like under pressure from everywhere. So how could you guys like hold in that place and finally get a lot of points?
Yeah, I mean, it was a hard decision to use EP. And we thought about also the building where T1 won the game.
Yeah.
But we saw the people there, so we decided to fly under the bridge.
Yeah.
And it's not was so pressure. All you need to do is not get knocked, and you need to just wait a moment when you can farm or win the game. That's all.
Thanks for sharing. It's like it's worked so well. So
yeah.
Still hope you guys can play well in the following games. Bye bye. See you in games.
Bye bye.
Welcome, Gustav and Shrimsy. How do you feel like right now?
Good, yeah.
Excited.
What were you happiest with as a team after final stage?
I just like that we're not super impulsive. Like whenever we make sporadic plays, it kind of goes bad for us, but whenever we talk about things and do things together, then it goes pretty well for the most part.
The game has changed a lot recently and we need to adapt.
Like what's something fans always assume but Falcons doesn't completely wrong?
The biggest misconception that people have is because Tig is like the biggest streamer and he's like the face of Western PUBG, and he kind of has like this, I don't want to say like aura around him, but he's like, you know, people will come up to him and he has like this insane personality that they always think he has this insane ego and he's like kind of rude to the team and stuff like that, and that's just not true. He's a really good teammate.
So what's one area where this team still feels it can be better?
It's the balance between when you want to send it to the middle and play for the circle and when you want to play for kills and play on the edge. That balance is like nearly impossible right now because you used to have so much map knowledge from 8 years of playing the game. So having to adapt to that is nearly impossible, but we're trying our best.
I think a big team that we respect in general nowadays is Geek. So they've been playing TVP for a long time. They kind of all stopped playing FPP and just kind of was playing for the fun of the game, and they stream a bunch and stuff. And now they're one of the best teams in the world, in our opinion, I think, as a team.
Imagine you could invite any PUBG player in the world to join a dinner tonight. Who would you invite?
I would invite Inonix. Me and him have been friends for a long time, and we did a jersey swap back in 2021 at PGIS.
I would choose my old teammate Aitzi. He's an ex-FaZe player. He's just one of my best friends and I miss him.
We are looking forward to seeing what Falcons can bring to PGS9 and beyond. Best luck and better thanks for you guys. Bye.
Thank you so much.
Fueled by the same passion as esports athletes, Zowie continuously develops tailored products, empowering gamers to bring their best out. Today, we are launching the all-new XL2566X Plus, which uses the newly developed Fast TN panel and upgraded Diac2 technology. The new monitor series continue to evolve, refining details to ensure players can perform their best consistently in games.
got next. We ready to flex. We're ready to rock. Give it all you got. We got next. Y'all rockin' to the top, can't stop it. Must be off your rocker, thinking you gon' stop us. We got next.
3 games left to say I deserve to be one of the 8 that gets to go to the grand finals. It's the last 5-game series of this PGS circuit here at PGS 9, in which the bottom 8 teams will just be done. That's the end of their run here, as the top 8 will get to go on to those who had the highest collated score from PGS 7 and 8. This is PGS 9 from Shanghai, China. My name's Toffees. I am joined by Porosaurus Matchum and Martin, or as you know him, Avenger, as we continue to talk about the day. 2 games in. What's your take on the day, Martin?
Hot shifts, and pull-ups in a way where it's like, okay, these guys are really enjoying the current meta where it's easy to drive by and there's no RPDs and M249s that's destroying your experience. And also the way that we see some of these teams, you know, do these both the pull-ups but also e-pickups into great locations and so forth. But the pre-drives, the planning from some of the teams has been amazing. You could really see it from T1 so far, and also, of course, Gam the Expendables were able to put themselves into some great spots, and they feel and they kind of sense the lobby where there's space, and they take space where it has been given, especially here in the last game where Liquid gave up space and they took it away from them.
Again, the Expendables the 4th and a 1st place, respectively. Twisted Minds Guts is in 3rd with 3rd and 4th. They've been consistent, but the 8th place is the cutoff, and right now 8th place is on 8 points, and it's down to 5 points for 15th. So it's still really anybody's game, but this is your chance to make the statement, to put rubber to road, and to start the path back into the leaderboard. This is where the big points for PGC come alive, and you better not chicken out when it comes to getting dinner. It's time to Tego. Let's send it over to our casters, Matchum and Porosaurus.
All right, let's go for it.
Yeah.
Okay, so talking about this, you've been talking quite a bit about like the need for consistency at the start. Well, we're seeing that from 3 teams: T1, Gam the Expendables, and Twisted Minds. And I'm definitely not Sharper, who just had a very good last game, but the game before that was pretty bad. Are we seeing a bit of a point sponge at the top, and could that affect our cut lines?
I don't think so. I don't think we've gotten point sponge area just yet. I mean, it's only 2 games in, but we didn't see back-to-back winners or anything like that. So I don't think we've gotten quite to that point yet. So I think everybody should be still going out there and trying to get as many kills as they possibly can, because that cut line is still looking like it's probably going to be around that 30, as we get to see yet another early game long range snipe here. But once again, it's not going to pay off.
Yeah, just the vehicle dust-ups being pretty predominant, the early sections of it, and haven't led to too much. We will keep an eye on this whole Sharper Gam the Expendables situation, as well as 2 players for Godlike just down to the south of the Expendables. The circle pops. Doesn't go all ocean like we've been seeing it whenever we've been seeing the southern Tego spur, so it's a bit Ohyang centered, and that should be pretty fine for most of the teams.
Yeah, not too shabby. Not too shabby. We see a VSS and Duck Mice, and we saw late game VSS coming out from D, from Gen G last time around. I was excited to see that. Always excited to see a VSS in the late game. As unfortunately, it didn't work out too well for Gen G in that push. but I like where their heads are at. Like, they're wanting to fight. They're wanting to take these fights. They're getting kills. It's just been 2 kind of rough late game fights on the edge of circle, and I feel like we've seen a lot of that here. Are we hunting Tony?
I think so, because Godlike was over here with this drop. Remember, they did this 2-2 right down below him. Yeah, this was a planned pickup coming up from Godlike, so pays off. Hwang F already going to be out for the Expendables, and that's going to make potential drops going forward a lot easier, because we have been seeing a lot of Tego in our rotation. There's another rotation.
Nice. Do a barrel roll. Okay, JDG. Do a barrel roll. Hey, guys, did you know if you type do a barrel roll into Google, it'll do a barrel roll? Did you know that? That's an old school thing.
That is, I mean, we're getting a Star Fox remake for like the 2nd or 3rd time. So, I guess it'll be modern culture again to make barrel roll jokes.
Yeah.
Here within the next year or 2. We'll have to see how that
goes.
goes.
Like low key.
Well, no, I'm with you.
You're
I'm
not
the one that
wrong.
did the voice. You just quoted something and made a Google reference. I referenced like the Nintendo 64 version of it. So,
all right, man, stop video game mogging me.
oh yeah, because I'm so worried about like what is it, Star Fox references from back then. Oh, blue chips getting demolished. As this is going to be an airport push and retrieval coming up from Godlike, probably going to be Hong F if I had to take a wild guess on it all. So the way that we see this all getting set up, Vitality is going to have inside track to Ohyang. The hillside to the northwest is going to be extremely strong in the circle as long as it stays in. It looks like Team Liquid's going to be playing over there around that Buksan Sa positioning. Just to the south of that is where we often see a lot of teams like to play and keep more comfort outside of Buksan Sa. We also do have kind of Kan Nuang and the hillside that's to the north of that, but it's right along the zone wall, so I don't think that anybody's going to be using that except for maybe a stopover to get some information before pushing into the circle. South, it's got a couple of footpaths, but it's a lot flatter in general. So the northwest and kind of the north is where I would be expecting a lot of our teams to kind of cluster up at.
It'll be interesting to see. You saw JDG do that pickup. They went all the way down to the south. They're actually going to have an opportunity to even loot up a little bit more should they decide to. You see Twisted Minds pushing in here. This is Twisted Minds keeping everybody together again, and I think that's having to do a lot with what they're having to play around on this northern side. We've seen them kind of run into early game scraps, and T1 already taking shots over in that direction, but I think this is just kind of teams starting to learn, you know, what you can and can't get away with here on Tego in certain parts of the maps. And these hills are just so dangerous to play around because you just never know what is lurking on the top of them, as Navi might be about to find out the hard way here.
You had to make some assumptions that there were a couple of shots that came out from over here. I think that this was just trying to see if they could bully anybody out, and T1 doesn't want too much more of it, so they're actually going to retreat up to the north. That might give Twisted a little bit more breathing room than they had just a moment ago, because with T1 kind of surrendering the higher position on that hill, there's going to be some opportunities. Team Liquid, of course, hanging out in Buksan Sa proper, so they're going to be pretty fine.
Two of them are. The other two are way down the south, just off to the west of Ohyang. So a big, wide 2-2 split early on for Team Liquid.
Never.
I know. We've seen this work against them before in the past. We'll see if they maybe can sneak something here. Obviously, they know about Navi. As we check in now with Nemesis, they're wrapping on the southern coast. Looks like they should have a fairly easy pack in on that coastline just past Songam. Depending on what Anyone's Legend does. Anyone's Legend, another team that likes to be very wide split as they make their way into these first circles.
They just go full on firing line. They're like old school military. They just stand in some type of wall and walk at you and slowly try to pick you apart. When it works, it's great. Whenever it doesn't, the center falls apart, and we'll have to see. So with that 2-2 split, it's going to be full sense. Also running a 2-2. It's going to be pretty close to the Nemesis. Going to be wrapping in full coastline all the way down to the south. So Yongchon belongs over to Alpha right now, and they've been kind of chilling here for a while. Maybe an emergency pickup in their future, but Seoul is actually kind of going over here. I think he might be expecting it to see maybe he can get a couple of shots, catch something for free. The Expendables are going to be coming into the north, kind of around Kangyung. Sharper is going to be rotating in back behind them, and Godlike both. Tai Lu has got vehicles, so I'm assuming they're going to vehicle drive in, but Genji is in this positioning to the north. I feel like this is a setup for a potential trap.
Could be, and I mean, especially given the way that Genji's been playing, where they don't seem to be averse to going for these early game fights. It's like
Nobody can third party you if you fight out that far in the circle, right?
Yeah. I mean, well, that's the thing is like they're not averse to going for these early game fights, but they also tend to get bogged down in them a little bit, and we'll see if it works out that way for him here in C1. It looks like they're going to pull away, so Alpha will continue on their merry way off to the north. Genji will just keep on going towards the south, but Tai Lu's still up there off to the north as we check in with them making their way, and it looks like everybody's kind of avoiding each other for the most part early on here, but Nemesis is starting to make their way through. We do have their comms, so let's hear what they're thinking about as they break through this Anyone's Legend full sense barricade.
Настройка фрешная. Ну вот кризис, пацаны, это у меня
Подожди, какой-то вазик не завелся в спине, аккуратно.
Пацаны, у меня лутано, это скорее всего
Бейтесь.
Это
тройка фрешная, тройка.
Подожди, тачка стоит вот тут на двойке, аккуратно.
Окей. Надо через справа кинуть. Я кину просто Саня.
Харик не ставим еще.
На двойке тачка стоит?
Да.
Не, не на
Это
двойке. На контейнерах, на
И на
контейнерах.
двойке, на контейнерах.
Slightly rebuffed to the north, so they're just going to go ahead and try to continue to regroup. New circle should be popping in just 1 second. Are they going to get enough territory? And yeah, they are.
Like that.
They're going to have that area just to the north of Hospital. Is anyone's legend going to regroup because there are threats nearby and things to shoot at? To the north, though, look at the cluster teams. 4 Angry Men, Twisted Minds, T1, Team Liquid also trying to regroup. Are they going to have Navi on top of them? Alpha also looks like they're just cutting along the same area, while Vitality, it looks like JDG are going to be watching.
Worried about T1 here, but that terrain is allowing all these teams to kind of make rotations right next to each other and for the most part avoid each other. T1 actually going to turn around, and this might be trouble for Navi as they leave Buxansa. I think they might have spotted something in there. I mean, it's like watching a flock of migratory birds. They just they see a hawk, and then they all just immediately turn into a different direction, and it looks like they'll avoid each other now for the most part. As Twisted kind of in the same boat. I think they were getting shot at from Ohyang, and that's going to force them down into these trenches here temporarily.
The epitome of circle the wagons, because everything's getting shot at right now on both sides of it. You saw T1 and Twisted both just a couple of meters across from each other. Unfortunately for Twisted, they're in the lower section of the hillside, though, so T1's going to have a little bit of space that they get to work for, while 4 Angry Men you're taking the pot shots at Twisted Minds, still on a little bit of a roam. We have Sharper that's trying to come in from the east. They might get gate kept out by Godlike, but if they go far enough south, there's a couple of foot push positions that they could have played, a couple paths over there that could be fine for them. The Expendables also going to be coming in more to the northeast. They could be ending up on the other side of Alpha, as Alpha's going to end up next to 4 Angry Men. Jinji, Tyloo, I guess the more dramatic movers that we could be looking at inside the circle, as it does look like Jinji is coming up back behind Na'Vi in that Buxansa positioning.
Yeah, T1 in kind of a interesting spot here, and he looks like they're just going to bail on this, trying to take back that top of the hill.
That's a lot of vehicles lost.
Yeah. I mean, it's unfortunate, but they get everybody out of there, and that's what matters here. Is JDG kind of had eyes over in that direction for him as well, but you see now they are going to spot out T1, get a good idea of what's going on around them. They have that high ground here. You see Team Liquid will find a nice compound just off to the west of Ohyang. They have full sense in a 2-2 split just off to their west and south, so they got time to kind of stick this one out. But as you said, that Gen G rotation on the north side, kind of looking at what they're doing, because they're very wide split, and they're coming in from like the north and the west right now. It's really kind of weird.
It feels like they're trying to set up a net to find a team that's maybe a bit more clustered in Na'Vi, the teams that are playing around Buxansa. But that's going to be a problem, because look at Beam. He's very isolated over here to the north. All of Tyloo is going to be cresting this hill in just a little while.
Got to get out.
They're going to spot him. He has to regroup, and he's going to have to go all the way around Buxansa. Jinji, though, probably just going to try to keep an idea on what's going on with Na'Vi, but they can keep Na'Vi corralled over here, and that's going to force them right on top of T1, who now has to hop in their vehicles. They've got to make for a move. New circle's going to pop. How's the timing? Is it good for T1? It's decent enough as everything's going Ohyang.
Okay. Yeah, T1 just going to send it. I imagine they'll probably send it into that western side of the city itself, especially now that they're going to get shot at here. JDG is kind of on the clock. They've got eyes on multiple different directions. So T1, they're getting shot at, sure, but they're only getting shot at by one member of JDG. And they'll pull into this building just on that southwestern side. Anyone's legend just off to their east. You see a number of teams kind of shooting over in this direction, but just not enough focus fire. And T1 will survive for now, but full sense has arrived.
Yeah, especially Tigger on that position right next to him could cause a massive problem. He's just waiting to see who's going to step back out onto this. So those couple of shots from JDG are going to slow down the pacing. But, I mean, we do have to keep an eye on what's going on with anyone's legend in the middle of all of this. Yep, Sololzi spots out Raining as T1 didn't like playing right on the edge. They felt that maybe they would get crashed. And instead, it's going to be the center that's a problem. Raining goes down. Type eats a ton of damage. That opens up more space for Full Sense to kind of navigate. And we still have all of the rotates coming in from the edges of the circle. We still have the Jinji Na'Vi positioning. We've got Sharper that's trying to find their way in. They're going to be pushing in right next to Vitality. That's going to be over into the east. And then due to spotting out where Sharper is going, Nemesis is having to play more into the east, and that's going to be where Godlike's going to be at.
Everybody trying to make a move towards Ohyang. But Jinji still dealing with Na'Vi over here in the northwest. Na'Vi a little bit split here. as D will drop down that offensive smoke right on the rock. He knows that Spiro's there. Try to force him away. He's going to make the push in here. Very aggressive positioning here from D, but Soul has his back. Will get shots from behind. D will try to make the push in. He's going to spot him out. Nicely done by Gen G. He'll have to drop back down into the smoke, though, as Ferris had an angle. Meanwhile, Soul's going to spot out another one. A number of just 1v1s, 1v2s going on in this fight.
But it's up to the north. Ferris to stay back behind, trying to keep some control and safety for Na'Vi, and that's what forced Gen G into a more awkward situation. Gen G's handling it well, though. They're responding multiple fronts on this, but Team Liquid's realized that there's a firefight that's going on to their north. It looks like Purdy Curdy and the crew are moving out to see if they can get involved, while Hackatori does get the flush onto D. Salute, very few options. Now it's just going to be sending it in a little bit more right into the face. Hackatori takes a lot of damage, but that's going to be from Team Liquid from behind. Bing gets the last shot and gets the knock on him.
And now Ferris all by himself up to the north. He's going to have to pull away and just survive a little bit longer if he can. Gen G, meanwhile, will try to reset and actually just going to try to hop into vehicles and just get out of here, as they don't know exactly how many members of Team Liquid are up here keeping eyes on him. But now you see Twisted Minds also has an angle. Get the tire shot out there. But Soul will force Perfectix to pull back around, so Gen G should be okay, but that new circle is going to pop, and they are not going to be in it.
Okay, so Oh Young keeps a lot of it in play. So Twisted Minds solo side, and the focus that we've been seeing from Na'Vi, Gen G, Team Liquid, they've all got to move. Sharper's going to quickly regroup right on the outskirts of Oh Young. Looks like Nemesis already kind of has that set in vision. Godlike got away from them and just had to move in the more, I guess, I don't want to say open, but open-ish areas to the northwestern center. It's just going to be just send it. That's what you have to do. Entrenched places are going to be all around you. 4 angry men, Twisted Minds, both sides taking shots at Gen G, just trying to get into the circle. JDEG is going to be the focal point to the north of Oh Young, trying to keep it under control, and there's the explosions. Gen G's just got to stop anywhere that they can find, because the crossfire on them is absolutely brutal.
Oh man, the fact that they were able to get anybody in through that gauntlet of 4 a.m. Twisted Minds and, well, a number of teams over there in Oh Young. It's impressive in and of itself. Twisted Minds, meanwhile, still hanging out with that high ground. They're going to have to move eventually, but they know exactly where everybody is. They know where Bean is. They know where Godlike is. And they also know that 4 a.m. is still lurking off to the north. As we see Team Liquid will get that revive. They'll get back on the move. 4 strong coming in from the south.
Where do they go, though? It looks like they're teasing the idea of Oh Young, but that's going to be full sense. Anyone's Legend and Sharper all on a good defended position. BRDM going to be used to scout right now, and that's what Kurt's trying to figure out. He's going, okay, well, the east doesn't feel too good. Sharper's going to have that a bit more on controlled. So instead, they're going to use the ridgeline right along the road to see if they can get some distance away from Sharper, run in. That'll give them at least a good stop off, but Sharper's already trying to counter move around that. Looks like they're trying to see if they can get into a nade position, because they know exactly where Team Liquid are going to stop at. Jedi's already got the nade prepped up, but I don't think that they got there just in time.
Oh,
Shots from Earth are going to connect onto Luke. He's going to go down. Nade's going to come rolling in, connects with the BRDM, but they want to keep Luke. Got to jump back in. Timing, explosion, near on as perfect as you can get. Where do you go next? Because you're going to be pushing from the frying pan into the fire. There are so many teams in Oh Young.
They absolutely knew to expect that, but what a shot from Earth Zapalui to get the knock before he's able to get into the BRDM. They knew it was coming, and now they're just going to push right into Vitality, full strength, and they'll hop out the BRDM, hop back in, try to get a read on what's going on here. They're just dancing around, but Levante will spot out Cowboy. Cowboy's going to go down. The rest of the boys just waiting for the eventual grenades to pop off before they come out, but they got to come out now because that BRDM is starting to smoke.
Halo's got nade prep. Door gets closed by Vitality to deny it. He's got to move back forward, tries to go for some sprays. A lot of damage comes out. Gedrux gets a knock onto Halo. And now it's just poor old Purdy Curdy and his BRDM that's pretty busted. He's just trapped in Oh Young, and the explosions are going off around him. Even if he can get out of this, it's going to continue to be punished. All of Vitality on the chase for him, and he is just running around, seeing if he can find, nope, nothing. So down to the south, circle pops. It's going to be abandoning Oh Young, and that means that this urban firefight's got to pop off.
Oh Young, all the teams that sent it in now have to leave, and who is going to be the one that manages to survive until the end here? Na'Vi does get eliminated as Ferris gets spotted out. Bean still alive here for Gen G. Twisted Mind's in a lot of trouble now, as looks like they will be able to stick that res onto Example. but only just, as they're trying to position themselves in a way where they can kind of take advantage of anybody that's trying to escape the city. But Thanadol has this dirty little off angle, and Twisted Minds can't really do anything about it.
JDG as well as Vitality are the closest defenders to the zone, and they're going to be watching everything that's going on in Ouyang back behind them. Any supervision that's going to be happening out here.
Nice.
Good nades coming out. It's going to be cold. It gets knock on to Lou. Full Sense coming up on the other side of it, and this is just vulturing, getting whatever you can because you know you're about to walk through a meat grinder, and it is going to be a bloodbath to try to step foot inside this new circle. Slowsy's got himself Panzerfaust up and ready. T1's going to go ahead and get eliminated while all this is happening. Sharper actually kind of counter-moving around the outside of all of this. Vitality's got 2 players that are still up, going off of everything from the team of Liquid positioning. Couple of shots in between. Slowsy's not going to lean into the Panzerfaust just quite yet, it looks like, is everything for Vitality is just about timing, and Anyone's Legend still has some defense back behind him. And I think that Anyone's Legend is just going to try to slow back down the pacing, and this works out great for Sharper. Look at them. They're getting so much territory out of this.
Yeah, I mean, this is all Anyone's Legend can really even do right now. I mean, they're pinched between multiple teams. JDG doesn't have to leave their building just yet, and they're just holding windows, holding angles. You got Full Sense on the other side as well, just playing the edge. And Vitality, they're down to Quizzy. But Quizzy could cause problems for, well, not down to Quizzy inside the city. They do have Gedrox inside the circle already. So Quizzy just going to try to get points here, I think, more than anything. But it's really just a question of what can JDG do. Cold 119 already 3 kills, and he has eyes now for Full Sense.
Full Sense looks like they're hopping in the UAZ the other side. That's going to get pretty punished. That's going to be 400 men. Cold holds the wall, plays it patient, pays up big. Already finding one. Punishment comes out. It's going to be Thanadol that gets knocked on to Cold. JDG has 1 player down. How do they want to handle the defense? They know that Anyone's Legend is looming back behind him, and 4 angry men are just demolishing any movement over here. Full Sense is getting picked apart, and JDG just kind of has to watch it all.
You always wonder who's going to be the squad that has eyes on these teams fighting their way out of the city, as they will use whatever utility they've got left. It's not finding the mark just yet, but the blue zone has arrived. Sololzy playing the wall, looking for any hints of JDG. He's got that Panzerfaust in hand and does not want to leave it to chance, as he'll peek through the smokes, in between the smokes.
Thanadol.
Not going to find anything just yet, but Thanadol from that backside, Full Sense. They're down to just 1, and they are doing work here. As Suze is down, Thanadol will have time to heal up, and JDG, oh no, Sololzy, this is dirty. Putting the C4 in just to cause even more problems.
Okay, what do? You've got to finish this fast, and you've got to get out of point. You know what is going to be coming. So JDG looks like they're playing more into the north. Bean, 4 angry men, still keeping an eye on it. Oddly enough, Sharper was taking shots at 4 angry men, slows down the pace, and C4 is going to go off. Doesn't connect, but does give distance. And that's really what Anyone's Legend wants. Spots out JDG running across, trying to get into the circle, but it's going to be Nons. Going to spot out Imas. He's going to go down. And this is just not much else you can really do. Sharper, though, does have to deal with Nemesis on top of them, and that opened up more movement for 4 angry men.
Nemesis made this crash, trying to take advantage of Sharper while they were looking the other way, and they get taken by surprise. Now Melman all by himself, and Tai Lu is going to see that, and they are going to rush, immediately pulling out the grenades. They're going to sail a little bit too far, though, as Melman will dance around, and Tanawat's going to be the one that gets him. Nemesis tries to be the aggressor, but they get repelled.
Sharper, Tai Lu right on top of each other now. Tai Lu, though, I'd have to say, has the harder way to get into the circle. We're looking at just kind of one of the cuts of the rice patties over here, and it's going to be Sharper having to deal with Anyone's Legend one side of it, and they have to make sure that they respond fast. Tai Lu's still going to be back behind him. Art does get the knock on Sololzy, but Dylan gets the knock onto Thunders, and it looks like there's an opportunity for Tai Lu. They're trying to move in very quickly. Thanawat's realizing that there's going to be a problem back behind him, but he's got to focus in on Anyone's Legend. Delwin, Himas running in. Earth going to be the guy that's trying to hold them back. Tons of throwables coming out, but they're not going into the right location. I think that Tai Lu has a bad read on what's happening over here. Is now Delwin trapped up against the blue zone and has got to move right into Sharper's face.
Oh, Delwin's going to go down. Yeah, he has a good effort. It's down to just Himas, as Anyone's Legend is eaten right now. 6 kills. But what else can Himas do, as he is now on that south side all by himself? Sharper down to 2, and they've been doing a good job of holding the line. Good enough to put them in 3rd place overall on the day, and now they'll turn their attention over towards Tai Lu, who once again has found themselves in good position, but they're just not able to make anything of it. 0 kills now, and now Hausker is going to get knocked by Pau.
Yeah, Alpha comes in aggressive on that. They saw that movement and instantly respond. Look at the side angles already coming up from Tycon. This is a denial of positioning. Tyloo wanted to try to use the rice paddy and set it up, but great nade comes up. Lee's going to go down. Counter move perfectly timed for Alpha, and they could feast over here, but a new contender approaches. If they stay too focused on Tyloo, Sharper might be able to find some vision on what's going to be going on with Tycon.
And Alpha is just taking advantage of the fact that 4AM decided to wrap down to the south on that western side. Alpha has so much room to move around as Gedrock's going to get taken out by a mortar from Hasameme. The blue zone grenade's going to fall right on top of Lee and King Kong. Lee will get re-knocked. King Kong will have to go for the heal, but it's not going to work out for him as Tycon will get that one. And Alpha Gaming now up to 6 kills. And if they can take down Tanawat and Earth Zapalui, they got to do this. They got to do this clean, though.
Oh, it's Tycon. He's running up bold right through the smokes, trying to see if he can get an angle on Tanawat. Not going to go ahead and go down just yet, though. Timing, pacing, slowing off. Earth's going for a counter move. Other side of this could be a bit of a pinch if Alpha just runs out too much. Problem with it is the person that's going for the pinch on one side of it is Tycon, and you will have to deal with him face to face. It's always problematic. 4 Angry Men getting more control over the west, now starting to swoop in and hearing this firefight. Looks like they're positioning to go after Sharper.
And I like this from Alpha. They saw 4AM go for that move, and immediately they call Tycon back. They say, look, we've got 4 alive. We weren't able to get that kill easily, so pull back. Let's play for the win here. As 4AM is taking up all the space on the south side. They're trying to come alive here in the late game. Already 5 kills for themselves, but they've got Himas. They've got Ursapalui and Tanawat down there on the south as well. I don't know if they know exactly where Himas is. I don't see any of 4AM's Doritos looking down towards the south. They might have lost track of him.
I love the read on this coming up from Alpha. They said, okay, the weakened squad's going to be over into the east. Tycon, we need you to come back over the west. Keep an eye on what's going on with 4 Angry Men. Problem is, the western front for Alpha is going to be just on the other side of the circle from them. Like, they still need to get in. There's a ton of crates that could be down in front of them, provide some level of cover. But 4 Angry Men have their own problem, and that is a sneaky Himas that could absolutely wreck them if they're not careful, just crossing right across the fields in front of them. So Sharper managed to handle the push coming up from Alpha. Kudos to them. So they've got a little bit of the corner that they can hide in inside of the rice paddy for safety for the time being. 4 Angry Men, though, going to be very close just to the west of them, and Alpha has managed to find this 2-2 split and find some successes with it.
Oh, this could be real bad for 4AM. They lost track of how many people, I mean, and who could blame them? So many teams trying to fight their way out of that city. They just did not know that there's one more guy, one more snake in their midst, and he could cause huge problems here in the late game. The circle does pop. It is going to favor Alpha's side, and Sharper now in a little bit of trouble. What will Himas do? No grenades, no offensive utility to speak of, so anything he gets done, it's going to have to be on gun skill alone.
Drop the backpack for a better profile for the crawling through the grass. That means that ammo is going to also be pretty limited. But he has pretty close range positioning. Duck Mai going for a couple of shots to see if they can keep the corralled positioning for Sharper, because Sharper can't move up to the north. That means it's going to be them having to converge into the 4 Angry Men positioning. That works up great for Alpha. They're just trying to keep these two teams corralled as close as they could to each other. Technically 3, but I don't know if Alpha knows where Himas is, because only Himas knows where Himas is. And HS, you got a problem brewing behind you. I dare you to pull a trigger for a couple of seconds.
Here we go. Oh, they try to go for it, but Duck Mai and Winda, the combination by our powers combined, we will take down Sharper. Unfortunately for Spaceman, he's able to avoid the flaming vehicle for now. And now there you go. Tycon strikes. Shen is going to go down, and Himas sees this in the kill feed. He knows that 4AM is going to be a little bit distracted here. More utility will be sent over in their direction to try to slow them down.
This is a pretty messy area to fight in. You can see just with the tarps all set up this way, it kind of does make a lot of sightline blocks. It makes it a little bit easier to make foot pushes. So Simon T trying to be up above all of this, looking down on Spaceman, gets some damage with Panzerfaust. It doesn't quite connect to get the knock. Himas, though, is just going to be watching back behind this and realizing the explosions look like his focus is going to be over on Spaceman. So 4 Angry Men starting to get more control over in this western area. They're trying to push along this line, see if they can get these nades to connect bounces. do get a little bit of damage, but not as much as they want. Winda's down into the south, having to compete with the more southern duo for Alpha, as everything's going to be going down into that center dot position in just 1 second. Everything's starting to be pushed over here. Does Winda? I don't know if he saw him or not. Otherwise, he would have gone for the shots.
Oh, you have to think so. He was jump peeking it. He looked over there like he was maybe spotted something, but did not commit. So maybe just baited himself out here. Is Himas still able to move in? He's got the flashbangs ready. Going to continue to send them over in their direction. They have no idea where it's coming from, and now he'll strike. Himas gets the first knock, but that's going to be immediately traded out by Duckmy. Alpha helping out 4AM here a little bit as they will try to return the favor with grenades, trying to hold them off the push here for 4AM. But Winda's going to go down now as Shen will get revived.
Okay, Alpha, do you play this aggressive or do you give them the time? It looks like they're a bit nervous to try and make this cross. They would just want to lean into the range, use the dips that they've already got set. A ton of smoke down from 4 Angry Men, but only 2 players up and moving. Nades starting to come out, rolls close to Alpha. Not enough to get the knocks. Spaceman on top, gets vision, doesn't get a knock. He's instantly punished. 1 HP just trying to stay alive up there.
Wind is bled out. Shen is right behind him here. Spaceman, as he said, still on that high ground. Not even going to go for the heal. Going to go for the knock on Simon T before Tycon takes him down. And now it's a 2v1. Duckmy and Tycon versus Hasameme. The spray comes through. Duckmy very, very low, but he doesn't get the knock on Hasameme. There it is.
That is going to be Alpha picking it up at the end. A great read on the circles. Great defensive positioning. You got to give it to 4 Angry Men. They tried there at the end to make something back, and good old Himas making it in the later stages always makes things fun. Let's tag back in ourselves a Toffees and Avenger to get a take on what they saw in that last round.
One must always be afraid of snakes, and in this particular instant, the Him-Asp comes out and bites them from behind. He snaked through the grass. He caught them from behind, and Cleopatra's curse was too much. 4AM tried. They put up a noble defense, but Alpha, after they pulled off of that fight with Sharper, Martin, I think they just found a good spot, and I felt like that was just their game from that moment on.
Yeah, it was, and what a difficult circle as well. They're almost baiting ending here for Ouyang there. Makes it difficult for a lot of teams to kind of get into a better spot here, but APG, man, holding onto that compound on the high ground and then kind of flushing everyone from the northern side. That's so well played. Well played, executed by them. And yeah, when you get a strike from a snake like that, everyone else is going to really capitalize on it, and APG did it for sure.
I thought they knew Poro. Tian looked back for a second, yeah? He was like jump peeking, but the grass was just too thick. And I thought Himas was going to get the double too. I think he pulled off that spray a little bit too soon, thinking it was a, good old Himas would have had the knock by now.
I mean, credit to 4AM. Like, they immediately turned on that. Like, for having Snake just kind of show up in your midst when you're not expecting it. The fact that they were able to turn on it that quickly and take care of that situation was pretty good. And they were able to almost reset off of it. They got the res, but it was just kind of immediately followed by another knock. So, as you said, Alpha just had great position there towards the late game. And even still, 4AM gave them a run for their money.
Yeah, I will say, I got 4AM starting to get everybody back up, Matt, and I felt like maybe Alpha was going too slowly. I know they had the center of the circle, but it did feel like they kind of gave 4AM a chance to almost reset.
Yeah, I mean, with the damage that was done, it did feel like there was a world where Spaceman might have been able to turn that around. Whenever he got up on top of the tarps, was trying to creep his way forward, the damage had already been done by Himas at that point, but you could see that 4 Angry Men were trying to use the terrain to advantage, and that's why they were fighting to get over onto this point. So if maybe Himas wasn't back there might have been a world where 4 Angry Men could have fought this one back, because Alpha was leaning into gun skill and angle control, because you can see they didn't want to push the tarps, and that could have been punishable off of that high ground approach. But I mean, in the end, it's just all the factors stacked up, and it's going to be Alpha Gaming getting an extremely high kill count game.
Tycon still getting shouts from his old teammates. 6 kills as he comes out on top. Probably going to be the man of the match as they walk away with a good win here. Duckmy, S. Sir T, as he will always be in my heart, Simon T, and Powell coming out and putting in some work. Powell just basically support rolling, but he seems to always be there when they really need him to be in those anchor spots, Martin.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, looking at his post right now, usually I go pow, but he says shh, don't go be so loud here. So it's just gonna be pow for now. And looking at Tycon and the man of the match here, it does feel like it shimmers of PGC Dubai, doesn't it? Like, I really dream of what could have been if Tycon continued that kind of road that he was laying out 4 years ago.
Yeah.
It's the problem is how Matt, we constantly are saying, like, it looks like shimmers of the old Tycon. Some are like, it looks like shimmers of the old little Ghost. Like, there's just too many players that have this pedigree of, like, we know how good you are, and now we're sad when we watch you so often.
Well, that's the thing, is Tycon, like, whenever pressure's on, Tycon can find a way to
That's
kind
true.
of, like, really rise. But it feels like whenever things are supposed to go great for Alpha, they go bad. And that's what's so confusing about it is, I guess the messier the game gets, it feels like the better that Tycon plays. Even if you look historically, like his big solo clutches are whenever everything's kind of all falling apart for the team and he's got to make this big hero play. I guess maybe just figure out how to assume everybody's dead on your squad all the time and you just need to clutch every round. And maybe that's the Alpha secret.
You know, I remember that we used to call it the Tycon turn on when he would just sort of come out and all of a sudden activate for a tournament and go crazy. Maybe this is their chance to do it. As you look at that total leaderboard, as a reminder, I believe it was Alpha was in 11th place with 6 points going into this match. They are now in 2nd place. So it's still a very wide open leaderboard, Avenger.
Yeah, absolutely. And for the teams that's kind of in the chase, just a good game and you're into the top 8, right? We see teams here with multiple 20 points games here, and even for godlike, if you get a 20-point game here, you're straight into the top. So everything's still on the line here. Even though we've played 3, we've got 2 more to go. Only the teams that are 25-ish right now feel certain. You still need to get to that 30+ points to get into this last one here. Otherwise, it's going to be difficult. You're going to get scared.
Poro, I'm worried about Liquid. They started strong. They've had good runs, but they keep getting wiped out in a bad spot. Can we do this? Do I need to be stressed?
I mean, it seems like they're getting BRDMs today, so that's a good sign, right? Like, they usually play around those BRDMs pretty well. Yeah.
Pretty well.
Pretty well. But that last game, a little bit less so. But the situation was a little bit tough, for sure. But, yeah, I mean, look, they got a second with 5 kills in game number 2. And we'll see if they can pull something off in the last 2 games. I believe, though, still. They're not completely out of it by any means.
That's fair. You know what? Last week we let Martin have some copium of his own, so here we're gonna have our liquid cope.
Sure.
I will be honest. My notes from that game literally have just one bullet point that says liquid WTF. After that, send with the BRDM into the garage. But at the end of the day, like, I think you just get desperate. You have to make tough choices, right, Matchroom?
Yeah. They knew it was bad, right? That's the whole thing, is they were trying to approach coming in. They had to abandon their vehicles. They had a downed player already inside the BRDM, and you're just having to push right into Ohyang proper, where there were, I think at that point, 5 teams already there. They made a concerted push into a building that was going to be where Vitality was defended, and
I'm just glad they didn't get
just
panzered.
didn't have time to figure anything.
Yeah,
that was my bigger concern. I was really nervous on their approach that they were just going to get panzered before they even managed to make landfall.
Well, game 4 is about to get underway. You saw Godlike getting pumped for this one, and that's because they are ready to rondo. As we said, Matchman Poro back to the green room. Myself and Avenger are going to stick around to have some fun, but this is the moment. If you are below that cut line, or actually anywhere outside the top 4, you need to get pumped, because it is actually very, very close down at that lower limit. 8th place has 8 points, and then 9th has 8, and if you go all the way down to 16, it's not much better where they're 3 to 5. So they can get there in not even one game, one fight. I mean, literally, Martin, if you have a bad match and you decide to just go ahead and save and pick up 2 team wipes, you're in the top 8.
Yeah, absolutely. It's still anyone's game, anyone's chance to make it into that top 8, and you want to be into that top 8, because tomorrow, a best of 15 $300,000 final, 120 PGS points for first place, and that would put you straight into the top 8 of the current PGS point standing. That would put you in a situation where you go straight to PGC, the most PGS points that has been given out so far this year, and we only have 2 final weekends of those, and now we're straight into a hot drop, I would say. Right now it's Godlike and APG. After APG stopping having this many points, they're going to just commit everything to it.
They're going ham. It's APG doing APG things as Simon T goes ahead and gets himself the Tommy gun to open the fight. He's going to lead in. He's got the head-to-head right here. His opponents do have a little bit of stronger firepower. Fauna Heaven open up big, and Simon T and Duckmite dropped right away as they land and pick up really just overwhelming firepower by comparison.
It's another classic from hero to zero here. APG has 2 players now. Pow and Tycon's gonna have to figure out, do we go for a rest? Sure, there's a recall station here, but Godlike is just gonna take the car and destroy it. Surely they're already holding on to this one here, laughing. That's gonna put them 2 points ahead of Na'Vi as they were just tied with those guys. And you said it yourself, Toffee's here in a situation where if you can get this snowball rolling from the get-go, you're gonna be absolutely blessed. And looking over on the map here, they actually are not that far away from the circle. They could definitely get this rolling. We do have Na'Vi, Twisted Minds, and T1 in and around Test Track, Neox Factory, and the Test Track split that T1 is holding on to. A lot of teams are going to have to fight for space here in this game.
I think it's interesting that APG was willing to let 2 players go in and just make this hard fight right out of the gate and then not have the rest of their crew there. Obviously, I think they think, well, if you win that 2v2 here on the outside drop, we'll push in and support you. It's a fascinating decision as APG is not here. That said, Godlike is going to have to loot as if they are and expect them to possibly come back and cause a little bit of trouble. APG, I'm not sure that they're going to do that as we get the sky view and can see just how little contest Godlike has to deal with after they wipe out those 2 APG players. Really great delete, super fast wipe, and an easy play from them. Circle comes out right smack in the middle. Could not want a more fair circle than this as we're so close to the end.
We are, yeah, and now we've had hardships all day. Surely, yeah, I mean, we're not going to get another hardships here, right? Toffee's bot, and he's just yelling at them. I love that. That's funny. Get in here, get that done. And they're like, yeah, but have you seen the leaderboard? We're 20 points ahead of you. We'll probably make it to the finals. And then the last game, they're going to get third-partied by APG, you know? Don't celebrate too early.
I like to believe that there's like a leaderboard in the stadium that they're just like, he just pointed at and was like, yeah, look.
A decibel leaderboard, maybe.
Right? All right, so let's take a look back at the last game and a little bit of highlights to remind us of what just happened a few minutes ago.
Yep. And the other guys casted that, so we're just going to sit back and enjoy that. Maybe we should say the exact same thing with that.
Oh, sounds like we have an interview ready to sort of run over the background. I'm not sure who it's with. I'm excited to see it, though.
Maybe Duck.
Hello, everyone, welcome to the interview. I have Duck Juice with us from The Expandables.
Yeah.
GM The Expandables. Let's say hello to the audience. Hello.
Hello. Ni hao.
Wow, good. How confident do you have to like qualify in the grand final? Because it's like only 2 games left.
We're really confident because we had 1 checker at game 2, and then we got like 24 points. I think we need to 10 more points to go in the grand final because it's not like winner state. You don't have any point, you know. Yeah.
Yes.
So we just need to into the top 8, so it's okay for us.
Good. So let's over the past 2 weeks, I believe that you've learned a lot. Can you share about what you have learned?
Like the past 2 weeks, we learned a lot about way to go to the circle, more team working, and then we have more argument with together because it's a team. We need to connect to each other, so we need to know more about our teammate.
Yeah, actually, a healthy argument helps a lot, actually, and we can see that you make a big progress. So we'll see you in the games. Bye bye.
Yeah, bye bye.
Illuminating interview as we get back to the match. Here's a little bit of loot on top of Neox Factory, and I like that. I think you've learned a lot in the last week. We have learned a lot that sometimes fighting is good, I guess, is an interesting way to put it, but maybe an insight into their team. Let me put it this way, Martin. If the interviewer comments on how your team has been fighting a lot, and it seems to be like sometimes it's good, it means you guys are fighting way too much that they're noticing.
Yeah, maybe that could be the point here, but they've had success today here, and on 25 points currently, that's going to be them pretty comfortably into the finals if they don't go out with 0 points the next 2 games here. And even so, with how strong they've been in other survival stages, Toffees, I'm certain that the Expendables are going to be able to make their way in there. As we jump over to Godlike, that just got their 2 points. out of the 8
They were so
have
happy
currently
about
here.
those 2 points, though.
Yeah,
they were
so
happy.
Buddy. You see how excited they were? You see how much they celebrated? I hope
Well,
this
you see how
really
hard the
opens
lobbies
up.
have been for them? 2 kills
Yes,
here is
yes.
a win, man.
Yeah, that's yeah. It's gonna increase your total points by 33% after that. That's huge. But still, the snowball effect that could really get them, and the moral boost. That's really what I'm looking for in this and the next game here, because otherwise they are gonna have to bow down. If we go out and kind of look at the current bottom 8, what team do you think in the next 2 games is going to be able to get in and kind of lock that space down, Toughies? I'm curious as you see the rotations coming in.
I mean, traditionally you'd say Na'Vi, right? But absolutely not at this point. I mean, I think that I think Gen G is one of those teams, like, they could have, if they get a decent macro and they get lucky and not picked up on rotation and they go 4 strong, then I think they pull it off. And my other one is I think Vitality has always got that potential. I just don't, they haven't been living up to it, but that's a roster that knows how to play. And if they play good, strong rotations, they could win on averages.
Yeah, absolutely.
As we jump over to them.
Yeah, they could win on averages. We could see that happen here. It comes down to this game specifically because you're having that pressure on that last game. And usually just sure you win that last game, you're going to get in, but you don't want to rely on having to be that last game here. And Vitality, they've been a strong team. Pretty surprised to see them only 11 points. Maybe not as surprised as I'm to see Na'Vi on 6 points after 3 games. From here in match 4, they've not seen anything. Now Nemesis, currently the 8th team cut off at 16. They need to win this one here, and it's against Scam the Expendables. Difficult team to pull up against. And Duck Juice opens on 2.
Duck Juice, oh my! As he gets the double, Nemesis in some trouble. Tombu going to be here, gets time to heal up. They were so focused on him that Duck Juice was able to just come and get that flag down from the back, and it puts him already at a huge loss. Diffx up inside the house. Stade coming in for a little bit of backup. Duck Juice tries to go ahead and make it a 3. Stade's got the flash, wants to throw it through, switches back to the M249 and goes around to the right side. Duck Juice is on the chase, however, goes back around this way. The entire team is out. Soset is flushed. The fight is on. Stade has to hide in the corner, and he's just waiting. It's like watching a horror film as they hunt him down.
More nades, more utility being committed from all sides here. Wangref also trying to support. Shots are coming in here. The drive-by is happening. 35 HP here. It's going to be easy. More shots coming in. Tanwu hits a nade, and Clarice finds Diffx. Gam the Expendables finds 4 more points to put them on 28.
Na'Vi 0.5 absolutely deleted. Nemesis in a little bit of trouble there as they do get taken out. Let's jump back over to Vitality, a team that needs to work averages as they just float around the circle, trying to find somewhere to land as every spot they've gone to has been contested or bristled them away. And now they're going to go loop just north of Liquid as they again get bristled.
This is absolutely insane. More south shift and hard shifts continue here. We do go southwest. And as that happens, we see a lot of teams trying to get into better spaces. You know, Legend has locked down this high ground compound with the little warehouse that's made of sheet metal. It's very, very strong. You get a really good overlook of that. And if they end up having a circle that end up somewhere close to the area, this is a guaranteed qualification for them. They usually farm from areas like this, Toffee. So keep your eye on what anyone's Legend's doing.
All right, we'll keep an eye on that one as they've got a pretty good spot right there in the middle. Twisted Mind's in a good spot to get themselves comfortably. Because at 20, I don't think they feel very good about their spot right now. And as a team of averages, they need to have another good game here. JDG, one of those teams that we thought might have a big day at the start, has the potential to pop off. Just going to drive in circles in front of the wall. Basically, that's a sneaky scouting system. Drive around and to show your broadside a few times and hope somebody shoots at you to let you know not to crash.
Absolutely. Oh. I have to replay. Look at that again. Such a great angle for Dog Juice. And yeah, and Clarice and Tanwu also helping with that one. Great off angle for Clarice to jump out onto the roof as well there. Dog Juice is just laughing.
Well, it feels like it's just a miscommunication, right? Like they had nobody looking that dirt. They had 2 guys pushing, and they're both looking at the same window together, right? Like the backstab was inevitable. And that's one of those you just got to get that veterancy to go, hey, just because that's where the threat's coming from doesn't mean you can't watch for the other ones. I've got this covered. You look to the right. So they do get dismantled, absolutely. Tyloo taking some shots at JDG, who is still yet to find a place to call home. The journey continues.
Tyloo really trying to make the most out of this one so far. 15 points is a great effort from them, but they're hoping to make their first big appearance in a big finals here. That'll be huge for them, but coming in from this northwestern side here, they have to have more priority trying to get into this circle here as it's already closing. A lot of teams are already finding their way into the middle, and they're holding on to an edge where they're basically poking off teams to get off. And with where the circle's landing, there's not a lot of compounds, and you gotta fight for space early. This could be their detriment to their campaign in this game here.
All right, so the circle is about to close, and while some teams have been poking each other, we're going to have to see these fights go to fruition in full once the next shrink happens. I'm going to assume that there's no real... So this circle is going to pop up to that northwest side, and there's just nothing. Look at this great migration, hoping for 3 spots in the middle.
You know what? At least it's not a back-to-back hard shift or back-to-back south hard shift or anything crazy like that. But teams are really trying to move into other positions here with T1 setting up shop in a great spot. Gen.G has locked down good spots, and with the 1-2-3 split that we saw from Inner Legends paid off here for them to get a somewhat center spot, as a lot of teams are kind of moving, and especially Twisted Minds here, moving back into the eastern side and holding on to an edge of test.
Hi guys, if you're unable to launch PUBG on your Windows computer, then not to worry, as in this guide I'll be showing you some quick and simple steps that you can take to solve this issue. Now, I won't waste your time, so I'll jump straight into it, and the first thing we need to do is head over to our Steam application, and from the top here, just come inside of Library, and we need to find PUBG Battlegrounds from our list of games on the left here, and we're going to right click, come over to Properties, and then head inside of the installed files from the left here, and we're just going to press this Verify Integrity of Game Files button, and this is just going to check that none of our files are either damaged or broken or corrupt, so just give this a few seconds to complete, and down side here, come over to Steam out of this window, and the next thing you're going to do is head over to Steam in the top left hand side here, come over to Settings, and then head inside of this Downloads tab from the left, come down to Clear Download Cache, and we're going to press this Clear Cache button, and we can go ahead and press Confirm. Now this is going to restart the Steam application and may require you to log back in, so once you've logged back in, then just head back over to Library, come back over to PUBG from the left here, and we're going to right click again and come inside of Manage, select Browse Local Files, and then come inside of TSL Game, inside of Binaries, Win64, and inside of this folder here. So just give this a few Integrity of Game Files button, and this is just going to check that none of our files are either damaged or broken or corrupt, so just give this a few seconds to complete and wait for this to get to 100%, and if any problems are found it will repair these files inside of here. Then we can close out of this window, and the next thing you're going to do is head over to Steam in the top left hand side here, come over to Settings, and then head inside of this Downloads tab from the left, come down to Clear Download Cache, and we're going to press this Clear Cache button, and we can go ahead and press Confirm. Now this is going to restart the Steam application and may require you to log back in, so once you've logged back in, then just head back over to Library, come back over to PUBG from the left here, and we're going to right click again and come inside of Manage. select Browse Local Files, and then come inside of TSL Game, inside of Binaries, Win6 again, and come inside of Manage, select Browse Local Files, and then come inside of TSL Game, inside of Binaries, Win64, and inside of this folder you should see a file called tslgame.exe, and we're simply going to right click on this file, come over to Properties, head over to the Compatibility tab, and ensure that Disable Full Screen Optimizations is checked here, and also check this box next to Run this program as administrator, and then press Apply and OK to save your changes, and then we can try double this box next to Run this program as administrator, Properties, head over to the Compatibility tab, and ensure that Disable Full Screen Optimizations is checked here, and also check this box next to Run this program as administrator, and then press Apply and OK to save your changes, and then we can try double clicking on the game from here to see if that's now fixed the launching issue. So if that's still not working, the next thing you need to do is head over to your Start menu, and we're going to search for Windows Defender, and then just come over to the Windows Defender Firewall here, select Allow an Apple feature through Windows Defender Firewall on the left, and then just go ahead and press this change, clicking on the game from here to see if that's now fixed the launching issue. So if that's still not working, the next thing you need to do is head over to your Start menu, Screen Optimizations is checked here, and also check this box next to Run this program as administrator, and we're simply going to right click on this again and come inside of Manage, select Browse Local Files, and then come inside of TSL Game, inside of Binaries, Win64, and inside of this folder you should see a file called tslgame.exe, and we're simply going to right click on this file, come over to Properties, head over to the Compatibility tab, and ensure that Disable Full Screen Optimizations is checked here, and also check this box next to Run this program as administrator, and then press Apply and OK to save your changes, and then we can try double clicking on the game from here to see if that's now fixed the launching issue. So if that's still not working, the next thing you need to do is head over to your Start menu, and we're going to search for Windows Defender, and then just come over to the Windows Defender Firewall here, select Allow an Apple feature through Windows Defender Firewall on the left, and then just go ahead and press this change an Apple feature through Windows Defender Firewall, search for Windows Defender, and then just come over to the Windows Defender Firewall here, select Allow an Apple feature through Windows Defender Firewall on the left, and then just go ahead and press this Change Settings button at the top here, and we need to ensure that PUBG is added into this list down here. Now if you can find PUBG Battlegrounds in this list, then simply come over to it and make sure private and public are both ticked in these boxes. If you don't have PUBG inside of this list, then you'll simply need to add the application by selecting Allow Another App, coming over to Browse, and then you'll just need to locate the PUBG Battleground executable file. Once we've ensured that private and public are both checked in here, we can close out of the firewall settings, and we're going to come over to our Start menu and search for Settings, and then come over to the Settings tab. Scroll all the way down to Settings, App, coming over to Browse, and then you'll just simply need to add the application by selecting Allow Another App, coming over to Browse, and then you'll just need to locate the PUBG Battleground executable file. Once we've ensured that private and public are both checked in here, we can close out of the firewall settings, and we're going to come over to our Start menu and search for Settings, and then come over to the Settings tab. Scroll all the way down here to Windows Update, and then just press this Check for Updates button, and we're just going to ensure that our computer is running the latest version of Windows, as sometimes if you are running outdated version of Windows, this can cause compatibility issues without a next window. Right click, goes down anything. We can application, so we can close out of here, and we can try right clicking on PUBG and selecting play, and that should have
We plan everything in one space, roadmaps, backlogs, and sprint work, so everyone knows what we're building.
All right, everybody, welcome back. It's just one after another. The strongest 128-man field I think ever assembled. If there was maybe 2 or 3 players that stick out to me that we don't have, which is just going to happen at any main event, is like Jason Shaw, maybe the Co-Brothers, maybe a guy like Chris Melling. But listen, you cannot get this many elite players in the same building at one time for a 128-man format.
No, this has just been attended by some of the best pool players in the world, and we appreciate it. And obviously, Scott, you're local to this part of the world, and a few of the local players from this room have, stopped me in the open a couple of days saying this is just unbelievable. I play pool out of this room, and now I'm coming in, I can just stand so close to every table and just get to watch all these pool players from all over the globe.
Yeah, pretty cool, right? The Budweiser Arena really kind of sets things up for these guys. It puts the pressure on the players, but really, the fans get a special treat.
So Joshua Phillip will start this match, and the split has not been too clever. So the players are struggling to wrap the balls.
Yeah, there's just no question here. Now, the 9 didn't move, but there's got to be something going on because of the cluster, right? Look at these balls over here on the lower right side.
It's funny though, when you watch the replay always looked better than the live shot, because that break actually didn't seem that bad when I look back.
No, that's why to your point, I think there's something a little... Now, Josh took a pretty keen look at that rack as well and almost questioned it, but they don't want to be that guy, right? So...
I mean, personally, I don't mind if the player just goes like that just to get them tight, because this break format is all about trying to get the balls tight. There's no dodgy gaps and things like that used to happen back in the day.
Yeah, but if that's the case, why don't we just let them rack their own? That's my opinion.
Because I think you'd see a bit of pattern racking, people putting certain balls in a certain area.
Well, wouldn't the player, the opponent, be able to stop that? They could just call that out, right?
I don't think we've got the worst rule in place, to be fair.
Right. No, I agree. I mean, you're darned if you do, darned if you don't. Going towards the 8 here. I'd like to have got the 8 before the pink. This guy is fun to watch. I think he had a big debut at the US Open a couple of years ago. That's where he stood out to me. I don't think any of us really knew who he was until it was a quarterfinals. I'm not certain. Okay, caught it a little thick, and this is the table now. I like to see that. Might have even been last year. I feel like it was a couple of years ago at the US Open when he really stood out. Yeah, no, Josh, in match number 1 yesterday was struggling just a bit with the pace. He wanted that to hold up because he wanted to use the green 6 to go in towards the 8 or the 9, but I think he can do the same thing here. Yeah, look at the control. Look at that control. Would like to have got it up a bit higher, right, Paul?
Yeah, really intrigued to see how Phillip plays today. Yesterday wasn't at the races at all. You could see the table and the conditions. He was a little shocked out there. This has got to be good.
Yeah, notice him going to the upper corner here. It's a bigger pocket versus the side.
Had to work the cue ball a little bit at the end of that rack. Good start. Yeah, here we see.
It's top. He doesn't want the cue ball low every at bat, and he has, but watch out. All right, got a big flick off of 5. Big crash, I guess you would say. With 2-way pop, he doesn't want the cue ball low every time. We'd recognize that coming away with a look on a 2 is very rare when you're low. You've got a bit of the 9.
Yeah, he wasn't really getting overlooked yesterday off the break as well.
Yeah, just recognizing he's going to give him some of the 2, if not all of it, but recognizing the power of the long rail defensive play, especially with where the red 3 is. Now, the 3-6 is playable, I believe, if you're on the left side of the table. Yeah, that wasn't intended. There is no way that was intended.
Not easy, this. Always when you're striking down, it's very easy to put that little bit of spin on the ball, send it off on a path that you're not sure. So he's playing a delicate one, just trying to roll past the green. That's gone wrong. Yeah, you talk about AJ Madison, obviously so attacking, a little bit raw in the safety department. Phil was the same. Really worked on his tactical part of the game, his kicking. Can see a little bit of an edge. He's just trying to bump it over to the left rail, use the green 6 to hold. No, he's going for the pot, wow.
Watch out. Watch out.
The drama continues with Filler and the pointy table.
Well, I think he was actually trying to get past the 7 there. I can't imagine he was trying to stay middle table as hard as he hit this ball. I think he was trying to get past the 7.
I mean, maybe Phil's just not playing too good. I mean, listen, it's won the UK Open this season, but it was a little while ago. Short stick rescues the situation. I'm trying to think who he lost to at Arizona. I remember, he lost to Jeffrey Roder. Second rack, he was 1-0 up and he missed an unforgivable 6-ball. Changed the match, he got completely punished for it. He got punished in Florida. Me and you did the game against SVB. 7-7, wasn't it, Scott?
Yeah, he missed the 7 twice. The second one stunned me. But what you said in the initial part of your little spiel right there, I fully agree. I think that maybe he's just struggling, but he's human, right?
Spiel?
Yeah, a little spiel.
What do you mean, spiel?
Well, kind of like a speech, but instead just a spiel.
Ooh, that took a wobble and wiped its feet. Phillip wins the opening 2, but a bit of drama in both. Another one of our sponsors, Town Chalk, of course, they do a few other bits and bobs. You can see the website at the bottom. Changed the game in the world of billiards with the innovation with the chalk, where you don't get skidded anymore and you don't have the chalk marks all over the table. So Phil is 1 from 1. Needs to
Let flow, see you looking at you. Already know. Buka YouTube, YouTube apa?
Ya di YouTube.
Ya cari apa?
Namanya apa?
Hobi 3 kali ini. Bukan hobi gaming. Bukan arrownya nggak usah dipakai, hop doang, kayaknya 3 kali. HOPE gaming. Ya. Coba dengar suara kipasnya masuk nggak? Itu di dagumu dan itu. Suara kipasnya mengganggu nggak?
Enggak sih, tapi kedengeran.
Oh kedengeran ya?
Kedengeran tapi nggak berapa sih.
Oh aman, coba. Suara kipasnya mengganggu nggak? Oh kedengeran ya? Oh aman, coba. Sebentar kak. Papanya lain tapi papanya Omi. Kamu pakai ini. Bisa itu. Bisa. Terus. Masih kedengeran pasti ya.
Banyak banget chargernya. Ih. Lagi live ya.
Dulu.
Oke. Dah.
Kak, pinjam HP-mu sebentar deh, boleh nggak? Habis minum kamu. Kak, Kak, HP ya, pinjam dulu. Kopinya gede banget. Coba, buka. Patah-patah nggak?
Terus sedikit.
Hah? Ini dari gamenya. Nanti kayaknya udah. Terangin dong layarnya, gelap banget. Udah Kak, oke Kak. Thank you sayang ya. Loh. Ya ampun. Kok ini pinnya FPS-nya gini sih?
Hey, how's it going, YouTube? Welcome back to yet another amazing video, and in this video today I'm going to be showing you guys how you can optimize your PC's performance for better FPS, fix lags, stutter and FPS drops in PUBG Season 42. Make sure to stick around till the end because I'm going to be helping you optimize your system as well as your game. And with all that said, let's get started with the intro. Alright, step number 1 is the best Windows settings, and for that simply search for settings on your PC and open it up. Then head over to personalization and the colors, and then simply disable transparency effects. This will basically disallow windows and surfaces appear translucent, removing unnecessary animations from the PC. Then click on gaming, head over to game bar and turn it off. To basically disallow game bar to appear on top, and it helps you save your system resources because it is very GPU intensive. Head back to gaming again, select game mode and turn it on. It will help you optimize the PC by turning things off in the background just as it is. Then click on the graphics settings underneath, and over here enable optimizations for Windows games, and this option will help you to reduce time. Gaming, head over to game bar and turn it off. To basically disallow game bar to appear on top, and it helps you save your system resources because it is very GPU intensive. Head back to gaming again, select game mode and turn it on. It will help you optimize the PC by turning things off in the background just as it is. Then click on the graphics settings underneath, and over here enable optimizations for Windows games, and this option will help you to reduce unwanted input latency. Then click on the advanced graphics settings and enable hardware accelerated GPU scheduling, as this option will help you to utilize your primary graphics card to enter the game. After click on the add desktop app button over here, find PUBG in your download list, and then head over to the game, TSL game, find Restream 64, and select the TSL game. Alright, so number 1 is the best Windows settings, and for that simply search for settings on your PC and open it up. Then head over to personalization and then colors, and then simply disable transparency effects. This will basically disallow windows and surfaces appear translucent, removing unnecessary animation. Alright, so number 1 is the best Windows settings, and for that simply search for settings on your PC.
Pada di luar.
PC and open it up. Then head over to personalization and then colors, and then simply disable. Disable transparency effects. This will basically disallow windows and surfaces appear translucent, removing unnecessary animations from your PC. Then click on gaming, head over to game bar and turn it off. To basically disallow game bar to appear on top, and it helps you save this. Then click on gaming, head over to game bar and turn it. Off to basically disallow game bar to appear on top, and it helps you save your system resources because it is very GPU intensive. Head back to gaming again.
Apa lu?
And it helps you save your system resources because it is very GPU intensive. Head back to gaming again, select game mode and turn it on. Turn it off. It will basically disallow game bar to appear on top, and it helps you save your system resources because it is very GPU intensive. Head back to gaming again, select game mode and turn it on. It will help you to optimize your PC by turning things off in the background just as it says. Then click on the graphics settings underneath, and over here enable optimization. Click on the graphics settings underneath, and over here enable optimizations. Click on the graphics settings. Again, select game mode and turn it on. It will help you to optimize your PC by to appear on top, and it helps you save your system resources because it is very GPU intensive. Head back to gaming again, select game mode and turn it on. It will help you to optimize your PC by turning things off in the background just as it says. Then click on the graphics settings underneath, and over here enable optimizations for windowed games, as this option will help you to reduce unwanted input latency. Then click on the advanced graphics settings and enable hardware accelerated GPU scheduling, as this option will help you to utilize your primary graphics card to render the game. After that, click on the add desktop app button over here. Find PUBG in your download list and then head over to the game. GPU scheduling, as this option will help you to utilize your primary graphics card to render the game. After that, click on the add desktop app button over here. Find PUBG in your download list and then head over to the game, TSL game, binaries, Win64, then select the TSL game.exe file over here.
Oh iya ya.
And click on the add button. Once that is added, scroll a bit down until you find your game, and then for the GPU preference, go ahead and set it to high performance and make sure that it utilizes your primary file over here, and click on the add button. Once that is added, scroll a bit down until you find your game, and then for the GPU preference, go ahead and set it over here. Click on the graphics settings and again select game mode and turn it on. It will help you to optimize your PC by turning things off in the background, just as it says. Then click on the graphics settings underneath, and over here enable optimizations for windowed games, as this option will help you to reduce unwanted input latency. Then click on the advanced graphics settings and enable hardware accelerated GPU scheduling, as this option will help you to utilize your primary graphics card to render the game. After that, click on the add desktop app button over here. Find PUBG in your download list and then head over to the game, TSL game, binaries, Win64, then select the TSL game.exe file over here and click on the add button. Once that is added, scroll a bit down until you find your game, and then for the GPU preference, go ahead and set it to high performance and make sure that it utilizes your primary graphics card. Once that's done, you can simply close it. Next step is disabling background applications, and it is really simple. Search for edit group policy on our system and hit enter. Be advised that this setting will only be available for close it. Next step is disabling background applications, and it is really simple. Search for edit group policy on our system and hit enter. Be advised that this setting will only be available for Windows Pro users. Over here, double click on computer configuration, then administrative templates, Windows components, and then app privacy. Here you'll find let Windows apps run in the background. Simply double click to open this policy up and make sure that this is enabled. Then under options, set it to force deny, and this will force deny the applications from running in the background, helping you to save your system resources. Next step is disabling sysmain. Disabling that will help you to optimize the system because it consumes up to 15% of your CPU resources. Search for services and hit enter. Select any service, press S on your keyboard until you find sysmain, and then double click to open it up. Make sure that the startup type is set to disabled, and if the service is running, click on the stop button. Click on apply to save it. up to 15% of your CPU resources. Search for services and hit enter. Select any service, press S on your keyboard until you find resources. Next step is disabling sysmain. Disabling that will help you to optimize the system because it consumes up to 15% of your CPU resources. Search for services and hit enter. Select any service, press S on your keyboard until you find sysmain and then double click to open it up. Make sure that the startup type is set to disabled, and if the service is running, click on the stop button. Click on apply to save % of your CPU resources. Search for services and hit enter. Select any service, press S on your keyboard until you find sysmain and then double click to open it up. Make sure that the startup type is set to disabled, and if the service is running, click on the stop button. Click on apply to save it. Although it says it maintains and improves your system performance over time, but it actually consumes your CPU resources in the background, which is really crucial when you play games. So disable it while you play your games, and then you can later turn it on if you're not playing it. Next step is fixing all kind of packet loss, ping issues and network related issues using Gear Booster.
Design characters for games that can emote and actually talk in minutes using Envato's Gen AI tools.
One moment, they're smiling and talking.
Then suddenly they're serious or ready for battle.
All done by just swapping expressions during dial.
I have left a free download link to it in the description below. Once you open it up, you will find a very simple interface like this. You will find more than 3 connections. Free.
Yep. Hello guys. Kalian yang klik videonya atau nonton video bikin berat kasih ngobrol additional project. Nah sini kasih
Lihat. Apa lihat?
Bintang ya?
Bintang.
File Explorer, full canon, properties, screen up. Canon. delete file.
Ya, polisinya di mana? Nggak ada. Oh ada, bilang mama. Jen, udah Jen, bilang mama ada. Ya no.
Kita ke 3D setting dulu. Sini bisa cetak preview. Kalau bawaan di pos yang atas. Buat ningkatin perform gameplay kita, klik yang ketiga ini ya.
Sakit ini papa.
sini. Kita ke 3D setting dulu. Di sini aja cuma setting back preview. Kalau bawaan di pos yang atas buat ningkatin performa gameplay kita, klik yang ketiga ini ya. Sini bisa digeser buat quality atau performance. Saran gue kalian pakai yang performance, lalu klik apply. Yes, menu 3D setting. Kalian contek deh punya gue. Ventilasi gamma on, ventilasi on off, dan virtual itu pre-render frame-nya 1, lalu apply. Nggak berhenti dari tadi. Next, konfigurasi sasaran fisik. Di fisik setting ini prosesornya pastiin jangan auto select ya, jadi biar dia ngebaca grafik kalian. Oke. Behavior dan ini application system. Okay. Apply dan check this operator. Nah, ini bisa sebagian klik kanan lalu petis lagi. Ini foto di YouTube ya. Di sini dan kita cek IP setting. Ini kalian cek this operator scale behavior dan ini application system. Oke, apply, terus kedua kosong. Kemudian pilih aja di sini. Ketikkan yang kedua. Jadi flash rate-nya kanan dulu tekan monitor yang 60 Hz, kanan posisi 60 flash, spasi 60, dan kameranya kita pilihkan aja di base kalau monitor yang di depan atau 140 Hz tinggal aja di sini. Ngelok space isi kita terus menggunakan konten kasih dengan opal dan menjadi top flash untuk pilihan gas atau jamret untuk pakai dan PC dan gameplay kalian ya.
Nggak ada capek-capeknya kamu ya. Astaga. Kenapa tuh mukamu? Enggak, bukan sini. Soalnya. Oh, enggak kenapa-napa nih. Ini tadi kalian enggak apa. Cantik banget sih kamu pakai sepatu ini. Loh. Kok keluar? Apa sih? Lah. Kok ping gue gede? FPS gue cuma 6